Heavy winter snows have come, and outside of the door of the tavern there's nothing but white. Landscape difficult to pick out aside from the occasional crest of a tree top or the curve of a hill. The interior of the tavern is thick with the scent of warm soup and ale, the sound of murmuring voices. You found a warm, comfortable place to rest. The town of Alinges Pass is well prepared for the winter, and though no preparations can be perfect, you feel as though you are safe here in this place. Your memories of Salinger have begun to slowly trickle back like rainwater saturating the ground, one memory at a time, over the course of hours, returning to you. For each of your characters, what's the first memory, the primary memory of Salinger that returns to you?
For Esmond, it would be one time while working with Mulwood on the docks on some machinery covered in oil. He would have seen Sal from a distance and run up and hugged him to greet him, not realizing how much of a neat freak that he was, covering him with oil. And in that moment, he would have seen a truly angry Salinger. Um, they got past it, obviously, but uh, that is one of the first memories that Esmond would have of Salinger.
Um, Ava, the memory that comes to Ava is the one that she almost recalled not that long ago, with the medallion around her neck, the small ornament that was found on the docks, and how the two of them rescued it from a tabby cat that had ended up swallowing it.
For Ishlan, she is warming and blistering, checking over things next to the fire. When casting her mind back over the weird shit that has happened and contents of the letter that Peach shared, and when suddenly she remembers a moment when they were all kids and her family still were fishers. Her dad was a fisher still, and they used to play on the docks. There was this enormous crab that lived under Dock 3, and she had a tendency to just talk to anything, animals included. And then at one point, she started greeting this crab every time they saw it, whenever it came out. And then at one point, Salinger piped in as the voice of the crab, calling her the Claw Queen, and pretending that the crab was one of her couriers.
Araya's memories seem to fill in from most recent to, and she realizes in some of the returning memories of Sal just how much he would have appreciated the temple, and then remembers not too long ago how they were in a different Brunhilde's temple, and then not too long before that they were beneath the ground and discovering all these dwarven ruins and just filling with the knowledge of he should have been here.
The first memory that returns to Casey, he's standing, arms outstretched, as Sal and a couple others dress him for the parlay as the king of up. And he hears Salinger say, "Now you can't mix that shade of brown with that shade of green. It just won't work." And he holds up a little measuring tape to Casey's torso. He's like, "Don't worry, we're gonna fix you right up."
Peach sits there and studies her friends' faces. Her memories are the same.
Beth remembers the time that she first became giant and accidentally did that around her forge and destroyed part of the roof of that keeps it protected from the snow and the rain and the weather. And she remembers Sal coming by to prop up uh, part and help her hammer in support to keep this roof from sagging back down. She apologized profusely when he got some dirt smudged on his nice shirt that day and offered to clean it for him, which he refused.
The snows are coming down so thickly that it becomes clear that trying to travel to the stone tower during the blizzard just isn't a practical thing to do. It means you'll be spending a few days, more than likely, in the tavern itself of the town of Alinga's Pass. Some time to perhaps study, go through your books, train, sharpen your weapons, have some warm food, some actual rest for a change.
Perhaps a soak in a hot tub.
Soak in a hot tub is, in fact, available. There is perhaps one morning, who knows, morning, afternoon, where in the deep stone-set bathhouse, steam rising, the underground keeping the waters warm and retaining the heat from the coals, where it's just Rhea and Peach, voices echoing gently against the stone.
This reminds me of home.
Yeah. I mean, except I'm not as worried that somebody's going to come around the corner and yell at me for putting my feet in the wrong pool.
That only happened once.
It happened twice. The other time it was me and Casey, and we just didn't tell you.
Did Casey put his feet in a pool?
No, he just encouraged me to,
Mm-mm. No, but this is... this whole... I keep thinking that Sal would love it here, but then it makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, Sal wouldn't love it here. It looks like Sal made this place or influenced it heavy in some way, and it is something else. Rhea, I thought for a moment after we recovered Salinger's belongings, when you and I were there in that last room, we had that discussion. I really thought we were going to see him again, in the flesh. Like, for real. It's kind of...
Well, no, I think...
I mean,
No.
it's okay knowing. It's good knowing.
But we only know that he lived 1,000 years ago. Not that he passed at that.
I don't mean all that. Salinger went and became a hero. He did exactly what he wanted to do with his life. He became everything we ever read and sung about. It's incredible. I'm not sad he's dead. I'm sad I didn't get to, venture along with him.
Well, can you imagine us finding mention of him in a book alongside, or in one of his own books? What are the chances?
Pretty good, I bet. You notice the name of this town? All right, first time I seen it written down outside of this inn. His goddamn name.
You'd think we'd be smarter to notice a clue like that. I only heard them saying it, and I don't pronounce it that way. Maybe it's the dwarf accent.
Barrett is in Dwarven.
I don't speak Dwarven. And, Sal never encouraged me to. I'll talk to the rough guts for you, Peach. You don't need to hear their salty language and all that. I just figured he was saving me from getting catcalled.
Or threatened. No, Sal, can you imagine? He led an entire, years, maybe a whole life looking out for us.
Well, looking out for everyone. And Peach would, I imagine that she'd have the letter with her, but she wouldn't bring it into the sauna.
No.
So she'll just kind of close her eyes and think about it. If I'm remembering the information in that letter correctly and what we all put together, it really seems like there was a version of our whole adventure that went so much worse than what we went through, and that was Sal looking out for us. Ray, you said that, religion is that idea, right? That gods can affect your life just in that little way, a little bit, tiny little bit poking through. I feel like that's what Salinger done. I don't mean to sound.
Well,
I don't mean to sound, like I'm starting a cult or nothing, but
just don't tell Casey. No, but can you imagine now? So she leans back in the pool of water. I'm imagining. So he suddenly appears in an ancient city a long time ago. How does he convince anyone that he's not crazy?
well, first he's got to get over the fact that his true love, Proserpina Pine, was just ripped from him across time and space. I imagine that took weeks and weeks of recovery because we were on a moment there. I know you didn't see it, and then it was wiped from everybody's mind immediately after it happened and sent me spiraling. But it was real. So I imagine that my boy did some spiraling too. At least he should have, right?
But then every action was, well, with you, and he wrote you, and then you should go back. What the poem that he wrote for you? That's for you. That was meant entirely for you.
No, I know that. He wrote poem for everyone.
Yes, but
And I don't expect whatever ancient version of Salinger writing poems about his childhood friends was really, worrying about much with regards to me. But I do hope he missed me for a little bit before moving on and becoming a proper adventurer. Before he went on and, saved the world till we could get around to trying to save the rest of it.
well, Sal was a lot better with history than I am, but I like stories. His hasn't ended yet. I know that I said that, finding his things meant that there was hope that the gods had touched it, and I still have that. We've gone in and out of this reality and many others, so he's just far away right now.
I don't know, Mariah. It feels like Shalati is far away. It feels like Sifred is far away. It feels like Salinger has nobody just blipped him out. He lived a life. He finished. So I can't imagine he wouldn't be one to hang around, unless he does go off and find that Queen of Lux, and it turns out he's thousands of years old and still pining over a peach pine, because I wouldn't mind that either.
I think, well, I like to think of it. I like to think of all the ways that maybe we'll see glimpses of him. Even here.
So, of course here. This place. Yeah, that's why these tubs are so big and extra deep, right? And they've got the jets around the bottom, right around the calf area, right? That was always where Sal was complaining about, right? You got to lift with your legs, but then every time he swung that hammer.
What I think it means, though, is that there's going to be a very well and esteemed tailor in this town, and we should consider that.
Yes. Amen to that, Araya. Praise the maiden Brunhilde, Salinger, Moral, whoever you like. Let's get dressed.
I wonder why Sal got the two of them mixed or decided to entwine the two.
So as the two of you are saying that Peach, you can't help but notice the necklace that Araya has on. There's a faint glow from it, and then the water of the bath takes on golden light.
Araya?
Her eyes are closed and she's just floating in the bath like,
Hey, Araya, I think you're sanctifying.
No, I'm not. No, that was humming. That wasn't a hymn or anything.
Humming could be magic too. What'd you do? You made something gold.
Huh? Oh. And her hand immediately clutches the necklace at her throat, and she's like, well, I think I felt so much like I was back at the temple. This is right then. And we went through an awful lot. So it's fine. Yeah. No, I mean, it's
It's a regular, normal thing that has happened multiple times before, because I don't remember that.
no, no, of course you wouldn't have seen it when I went down to in Merwood,
No, yeah, I wasn't even there for that episode. I mean, I don't remember.
when I had to not necessarily cleanse, but rather imbue the town through the ritual corpse. The temple is powerful, and the teachings are also powerful, but it's intrinsically linked to water, so a lot of the blessing of the maiden, the blessing that she grants, the healing waters that she has in her temple, is a distinct power attributed to the maiden and those close to her.
Is it something you were using with intention, or was it happening just because you were in the right place of mind?
It wasn't an intentional thing this time. I mean, there are ways that I can call upon and request. Yeah. But sometimes maybe it's seeing that I needed something, that maybe, yeah.
Well, what all did it do this time besides make a nice little light show?
Well, no, this is holy water, really. If you
If
come down
you
to
were
it,
sanctifying, Araya.
I didn't say that I was sanctifying.
You gotta warn a girl. What if I had some kind of, I don't know, demonic
Necrotic?
tendencies? And yeah, right. What if I'd have been the necromancer secretly and you'd have taken me out? What if it turned out all along I've been a zombie and you killed me?
I think I'd want to know. Actually. No, but it's just a blessing. It's nothing more complicated. It's
I'm just teasing. I know.
I know, I think it's just in a way like a little bit of, looking out for us. We need this. We need a blessing every now and then. You
I
don't
agree.
mind, do you?
No, you won't see me turning down a blessing or a hot bath.
Both at the
All in
same
the
time.
name of Salinger, too. I mean, I'm looking for the perfume soaps. Gotta be a secret stash somewhere.
Mm.
I mean, it's dwarves. They have both pork and pig flavor, or pork and beef flavored soaps.
They
It's
would
on a
have
different
chicken.
day.
They would have chicken flavor, but they're a little short.
It's on a different day that Ishtalan, you're perhaps standing at the window, watching the twisting white of the blizzard outside. You hear the sound of keen ears catch the sound of footsteps.
There's
I
a
tell who it is just by the footsteps.
I
I
suspect
guess spoilers.
roll for it. No, a bowl on the table gets clanged and just falls to the ground and does that thing where it's rolling on the ground awkwardly, and you turn around and see the Casey with a great sword strapped to his back awkwardly. The end of it kind of hit the table and knocked the bowl off when he was approaching. Yeah, not used to wearing this thing.
I think if you adjust the hardness a bit, it might not get in the way of her leg so much. Like here, and
I mean,
then
like,
she takes a few steps over and looks at the harness, pulls it a few times, like buckles it in a slightly different way, so that it's a little bit angled, slightly more off to the side, so it doesn't get in the way of his legs, but also isn't sticking out too much. How does that feel?
restrictive. So,
Have you even tried to give it a swing yet?
well, no, it's not for me. It's
Give it to one of the people with the magic bags, then.
no. I mean, were you there when Peach read the letter? Like, Salinger wanted me to give it to Shalati.
Sure, but you could also take it from their bag when we find her. I mean, it doesn't do you much good to carry it around if it gets in the way and you end up dying because you tripped over it or something.
Well, I mean, that's not going to happen, but
As soon as I said that, I knew you were going to say something like that, so I don't know why even.
well, I mean, you don't. That bag, it's so unorganized, and I, I'll just carry it for a bit. But I mean, that's kind of why I'm here. So, how do we find Shalati?
I know. I think if there's some way. I mean, right now, whatever it is that Isman is looking for in the stone tower, that might have some secrets that lets him open up those rifts and maybe travel more. That's the closest thing I can think of. Other than that, it sort of seems like these holes between reality are popping up more often, which could be both a good and a bad thing. On the bad side, probably means reality is unraveling. On the good side, the more holes there are, the more chances there are we could slip through and maybe find our way the old-fashioned way. No, not the old-fashioned way. The middle-fashioned way.
Yeah, I mean, there's the reality jumping, but apparently also, I mean, time, like Salinger kind of jumped through time, so.
I have no fucking clue.
I mean,
That's just a new thing to me.
I'll talk to Esmond about that. He'll work something out, but yeah, so I mean, I presume she's where you were with that handsome jerk. Was there like, I don't know, did you move
I do
around
not
in that
know.
space? Was there?
Yes, there was a lot of moving. I think the nature of that space meant that you couldn't really stay in one spot even if you tried. Either something came along and made you move, or it moved around you as places came and went. Doors opened or closed. Definitely didn't want to stick around if the angel was coming.
Well, how did you
I don't
first get
know
there?
if she was even there though. Well, I died, so that's the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, maybe that'll be plan B.
I would prefer it to be Plan Z.
Yeah.
I don't. And honestly, I do not even remember seeing her when you came into that space. I mean, my memories are a little bit shaky, especially since whatever I am, it seems to be not just one power or one echelon, but two, at the very least. And I haven't the faintest fucking clue how that happened either.
And maybe I'll go talk to Esmond about the time travel thing, but yeah, I'll let you know what he says. And he turns, and the sword bangs into the table as he turns. He swiftly makes his way out of the room.
As the next, at least 4 days will pass of intense snow.
I think I've got one.
Is there something you wanted to do?
I think a small thing during those 4 days.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, we're gonna do vignettes from everyone and scenes and stuff like that. I'm just kind of setting the tone for it. Yeah. So over at least the next 4 days, as the heavy snows come down and leaving you more or less trapped in the town of Lingais Pass, give me a little vignette of how each of your characters are spending that time. Your first consistent span of days, not on the road, quite some time.
Does anyone want to take a guess? Anyone? Any takers?
Esmond
Spell
is
scrolls?
socializing. Come on. He's been pent up and studying all this time. He's got a few days with good friends all around a cabin just to hang out and chill. Esmond, come on.
We got a winner.
Being bullied into socializing with everyone.
They take his scrolls and throw it back and forth over his head.
I imagine that we do force him to come down for meals, and that might entail like tying him to the chair.
Whenever,
Like,
yeah.
you will sit and eat with us. You will stop looking at the scrolls. Your eyes are going to get so tired. You need to take a break for some food, and then you're going to sleep, whether you like it or not.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There are over 4 days, you said, GM?
There will be at least 4 days.
Okay, yeah. There's at least one day where Esmond stays up for a full 24 hours studying. But yeah, over the next 4 days, whenever he is not torn away to socialize for however long that y'all can keep him there and to eat, Esmond is building a second version of Typhon, using whatever available metal and scraps can be found and brought to him from the town. And he is also fiercely studying the materials that were previously discovered in Meerwood, and probably crafting some additional ammunition for himself and Peach as well.
No, all that sounds fantastic. Give me some visuals. Give me a scene. Give me some vignettes of us looking in on your characters as they spend their time.
In one of Esmond's fierce study sessions, having just come back up from eating, pulling himself away from everybody else to get back to work, he enters the room, and there are several sheets of paper and notes stuck to the wall in front of the desk that he is studying from. And there are strings that tie specific points, specific notes from one sheet to another, that that are connected somehow. In the corner of the room, near the desk, is just a bunch of scrap metal and trash, basically. And whenever Esmond steps away from the study desk, he's in that corner, finding whatever viable parts that he can use in building a second Typhon. Until after a certain point, it slowly begins to put itself together. And then in the corner across from that one is a small stool and a small stool and a second stool in front of that one, where he is crafting the ammunition previously discussed for him and Peach, but also some additional notes about crafting, about trying to come up with new formula for different types of ammunition. So it's just going from one point to another, back to the original bloodshot eyes, rings under, deep set rings under his eyes, just constant studying.
Good. As one of those nights, are candles burning, going through the notes in the journals, some of those that you had taken from Meerwood. You are reading through some of the formula and speculation that Magrin had written in her journals. Please make an Arcana skill roll.
$21.
Ooh, 21. Yeah. You catch a few passages of what seemed to be sort of Magrin's speculation about the nature of the weave itself, the purpose that it served, how it might have come to be based upon her observations of its structure. And through that, you can learn a first or second level wizard spell of your choice.
I'm on it!
All right, I think this will bleed over into something else, but not in terms of moving time forward, but just in terms of more than a vignette. over the course of a few days, Ava finds a place. If there are rooms that they're dedicated towards, then the one she's in slowly grows into a small, almost garden, where she ends up taking leftover cups and mugs, pots and pans, things that aren't being used at the time, and each one of them starts to fill up a little bit with the strange and unique plants, some of one that were taken from the tombs where they had just come from. Planted as sort of seeds and sort of growing up a little bit over those few days, faster than you might expect. On the third day, though, Ava, on the third day, she goes down and asks for a tour guide, someone who's familiar with the town, and she's going to ask to be taken towards the fields where they grow stuff, and probably see if Casey's going to come along. So that's a thing I'm going to do at some point.
The tour guide responds to this. He's already out there.
Oh, awesome. She nods and heads out towards wherever I guess he can be found at.
Okay, we'll say for convenience sake, it's Fane's nearby, and yeah. And so he says, "You want to go out in the fields in this snow right now?"
Yes.
All right, I'll grab one of my heavy coats. I'll take you out there. Before too long, two of you harsh wind stinging, nearly blistering cold against your skin. He begins to trudge through the snow, heading out towards the fields. And I suppose you see a faint hint of orange against the white. You realize Casey's already out there.
Yeah, Casey is standing on top of one of the buildings. Magma lines in full glow. The wind is whipping from behind him, blowing his hair forward with little wisps of flame coming off of it. There's no snow hitting him directly. There's kind of this pocket of air around him where the snow does not touch him. He still has this great sword strapped to his back, and you see him run and do a forward flip off of the building, cut through the snow, turn and run to jump back and climb back onto the roof, but the sword gets caught on something and he kind of twists to the side, shifting it just past the little shingle was hanging on, and gets back up onto the roof, stands up straight, runs back towards the other edge of the roof, does a forward roll, tucking his right shoulder in so that the sword doesn't get stuck into the roof there, completes the roll, and then slips off the side of the building down to the ground into crouching position, and he looks up at you and smiles. I think I'm getting the hang of it.
You seem to be getting better, she says. Can you do the wind thing?
Yeah, Casey kind of sprints over to where Doc is, and as he gets closer to her, the snow that's blowing in her face just kind of moves away from her, and he waves a hand very subtly, and the wind shifts to blow at their backs rather than into their faces.
Yeah, thank you. That's much better.
What are you guys doing out here?
Thane's gonna take me to the fields where everything grows, and I just wanted to see if you could help because it's kind of cold out here, and so I thought you could help walk us out there and then escort him back so he doesn't get too cold.
I mean, yeah, I can stick with you guys. You look down and notice that Casey is barefoot. And he is wearing, his studded leather armor, but he's always tugging at because it's uncomfortable, but not much else. Normal kind of outfit. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go on over.
As we walk towards the fields, you probably notice that Ava, in spite of the chill, doesn't even have her mask up, and seems pretty unperturbed by the conditions all around as you make your way hiking towards the fields.
Yeah, you can see Casey moving his hand as you guys go, and larger sections of snow that you would have to step into kind of part to the side a little bit, making it not such a trudge.
Once they make out to the fields, they will, Ava just sort of finds the location for where they're at and turns towards each of them, sort of nodding in the direction of it, and says, "Okay, you guys can head back now. I'll see you guys for dinner, I guess. I'm gonna be out here for a while." And she starts to walk a little bit towards the fields and finds a patch in the snow to sort of settle in on, as if she's going to be there for a while.
Sounds good.
I'll race you back. Casey says to Fane and kicks off, running back towards town.
Cast a spell to make Thane just a little bit faster, to give him just the smallest sliver of a chance, and to make it more fun for Casey.
Two bounding off.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
There was mention of a giant gold hammer in the relics. Did that get distributed over the... We don't have to do the full scene of getting distributed. We can do that later. But did Kebeth receive that?
No, not yet.
Peach has it in her bag. We can have that moment whenever you want.
Would Peach have given it to her at any point over the 4 days?
I don't think that went to the bag. Fane took that.
Oh, right. Fane took it. Yep.
Okay. Well, then I have to now think about what I'm going to do, because my scene was going to involve that.
We can do a scene right before your scene that will involve
Yeah.
We were doing vignettes, so I didn't plan to... do you want to do that now, or do you just want to pretend that she's gotten it for the vignette? I'm confused.
Or we can do it as like the beginning, maybe, of your vignette, because if you need to get the hammer, you can receive the hammer at the beginning of what you're doing.
Okay, so the beginning of the 4 days, Kebeth is sitting by the fire in the tavern with a... You would consider it probably a mixing bowl sized portion of stew and a tall mug of something steaming. And she is tuckering into it. Her scarf and cloak and things are all piled on the chair next to her, drying off from snow.
And you hear the creaking of floorboards, and glancing, you see a broad-shouldered but stout dwarf. You recognize to be Fane, and he kind of reaches up and he takes his hat off. And right, I'm sorry to bother you. Do you have a moment to talk?
Oh yeah. Have you? You guys are really good cooks in this town. Did you know this stew is really, really good? You should definitely have some.
Oh, I'm glad that you like it. I like like it with the brown bread. When we'd gone deep into the depths, there we found the things of old, things that had belonged once to, from what they say, a man that she would known.
Oh yeah, Sal.
Indeed. One of his belongings is marked with the symbols of Brunhilde, the goddess that means much to the people here. And we'll always have the young people of the town looked upon the kibbutz, and It's, well, your strength is well known amongst the people here. The hammer is, according to the script, it was meant for you. And I said that I would carry it until we'd find to whom it would belong, and it seems already, it seems you're here. It's intended for you, destined for you. And well, it's very heavy. I've placed it in the small sanctum, where often we go for prayer. It seemed a good proper place for it, and I could show you.
She looks between him, back to him, and then back to that finished roll, and she goes, "Yeah, let's go.
No, oh,
I'll finish this later. I'll just." She kind of places her napkin over the food.
yeah, and he leads you through some interior tunnels and lead out from the tavern in the hillside. You get to what seems to be a small prayer sanctum. It's not particularly big, 6 feet by 6 feet or so, but it has some depictions of Brynhilde and carvings of the maiden, mysteriously like Araya. And sitting there in the sanctum is the golden hammer that you had seen Solinger wield. He says, here it is. It was found deep in the tomb, and it'd been waiting a long time. And he steps closer and kind of touches it and says, you can see it's been through much. Many long battles, hard won. Weapon like this. And in the scriptures that were left behind, your name was to be delivered to you, and I don't know the proper rituals to give this to you.
No rituals necessary. She kind of pats him on the shoulder. She's like, thank you for taking good care of it. She gestures to the goat horn shaped hammer that hangs from her hip, and she's obviously, being a blacksmith, hammers are kind of my thing. So it's really nice of Sal to kind of leave this for me. She picks it up with one hand.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, it's got a nice heft to it. She tosses it to the other hand.
Well, you have gained the hammer of Brunhilde. Stats are in the item changelog channel if you just search for it. But important note, it weighs 30 or 50 pounds, so make sure you are accounting for that.
I will roll for that. She's like, I might be carrying a lot of stuff these days. I'll have to reassess what I have on me. maybe Ezra Peach can take a few extra things off my hand. But yeah.
And he says, I'm so happy it's where it belongs. And, kind of nods his head and shuffles out of the room.
You see her as he leaves. She kind of is, side eyeing the carvings of that look like Araya, and she goes, either Sal had a natural talent for sculpting that I didn't know about, or he must be really good at describing us, because these likenesses are really great. Later, you see a little to a vision of Beth back at the tavern finishing her stew, leaving it, a thank you note to the person who served her and said, "You're a good cook." And then over the 4 days, she is training with this weapon. It is definitely significantly heavier than her other weapons, so she's like she definitely put on a show of not seeming like it was heavy to her for the sake of him giving it to her, but realistically, it is a heavy weapon. So she's doing some extra training, getting a feel for it, seeing how it swings, and doing some practice.
Let's go.
I can. So Araya has sort of She'll spend time with her friends here and there, but she's gravitated towards the temple. Maybe on the same day that she and Peach had shared their it has put her
Oh,
in a
I had a different idea for that post scene, girl. You're gonna come shopping with Peach in the next vignette.
oh
So you
excellent.
can do your peaceful thing, whatever, but Peach is about gonna interrupt it, and then we're gonna go shopping after.
She's just wandering the halls of the temple. There's a caretaker there that had been there, but this entire city that's built into the hills and the mountains, and then there's a temple, and she sort of feels at home. And some nights she doesn't return to the tavern and spends the night there. And one of those nights, if you happened to ever, you just hear her whispering and prayers and whatnot, but kneeling before the doorway that led down to the greater depths of the temple, her back to the maiden that looks a lot like her, just quietly, thank you for being there, and knowing that I needed. I know you're trying. It's just so hard, and now I don't want people to forget the maiden. It's a bit silly that she looks like me, but I can feel her and Brunhilde working themselves through these moments where we find ourselves tossed towards this impossible task. I know you're guiding me, and I appreciate it. I didn't need healing in the tub, but thank you. But most of her days are just spent caring for this temple that they've slightly destroyed, but also uncovered. And there seems to be far more candles and incense burning constantly in the Temple of Brunhilde than ever before. And she's using that time just to recenter herself, really.
I think it's very possible, if I can dovetail with this, that one of these afternoons when the wind is whipping in such a way that the snow is more passable, Peach kind of comes into the area where Araya is and says, "Come on, we're going into town when we can go into town. And it's you and me, whoever else wants to come. So we're going to hit the tavern. We're going to see if Doc or Kebeth or Ixtalan or even one of the boys wants to come along and get their look right. We have to do it in the name of Salinger. It will be the only thing to truly honor him."
He was going to help me kind of modernize the vestments.
And today's that day. Let's go.
Oh, today, now, you, she sort of brushes more snow from the doorway of the temple as it seems never ending. That just snow.
You can clean the snow off tomorrow or tonight or whatever you want.
I just don't want to leave it. And then she blows out a candle. Not that it would burn down, but it seems a waste.
Well,
Peach also wants to make good on her offer to extend the invitation to shopping to anybody who wants to join this scene or moment. You are all invited on Peach's shopping trip.
Yeah, Peach and Araya and anyone who wants to be involved, please montage us through your pleasant snow day shopping amongst the dwarven.
They have a lot more woolen things than I anticipated.
Casey comes sliding around a corner, greatsword still strapped to his back. Hey guys, Peach, Maiden, kicks off and runs around the corner.
He's got to stop calling me that. It's really going to confuse things, and it'll sort of just more expectation than I need.
I mean, who's to say you ain't some kind of second coming? There's a statue of me or two around here.
I think a lot of the priestesses of my temple would have a lot to say about me being the second coming.
We're all folk heroes here, okay? Just because you got to be a goddess and you're embarrassed about it.
No, not embarrassed.
Ishtalan is
Worried.
suddenly. Ishtalan is suddenly standing behind her, and she says, "Besides, they're all away. Too many, who knows how many worlds and perhaps years away."
Wait, what?
Hey, wouldn't it be funny if actually you are the inception of the idea of who the maiden was, and so
Oh
you
my
actually
goodness.
somehow are your own god, and Casey was right all along. She says as she's passing by and going to do something else.
Ava,
That would be
how
wild,
could
and
you?
I agree
It's just an
with
idea.
it. No, Ava, come get an outfit. Get a better coat, girl.
I'll meet you guys at the store.
We'll just threaten to buy something for you, and my taste is questionable.
I'm sure
My
it'll be fine.
My taste has flash. Salinger always said. He said, peach pine, you've got flash.
Well, yes, and he said I was boring and rigid, and he tried to use classical in a kind way, but he was not. In honor of Sal, I will put on new socks or something maybe on top.
Maybe something that's not a million layers of robes.
No, but they're warm. And also appropriate.
Whatever store you guys manage to go to, Doc will try to meet up with you there after she runs by and asks Esmond a question.
Yeah, Esmond is not on the shopping excursion, if it wasn't clear.
Yeah.
He's like, I have robots. I'm getting your new robot a
Did
scarf.
Kebeth come? I love that Exelon is here. I love that Doc is here. Did Kebeth come?
Sure, Kenneth can be there.
We can also shop for snacks afterwards, if that lures you.
So
Yeah,
Kabath
we'll
could
grab lunch.
probably use a new shirt, honestly, because she's been wearing plate armor over like I'm sure she has like some kind of padding and gamison or something. But that shirt underneath is probably real ratty and gross.
I do think that the road has taken its toll on us. My robes are not the same color that they started as. Do you think that they have a dyer here?
I think maybe you can go and say, hey, our friend established this town and saved you all from hundreds of years of whatever nonsense he built that bunker for. And maybe you get something gratis. Maybe some new robes.
Do you think Sal would want us to use our name to get it, or use his name to get a discount? I think we've brought this town a lot more trouble than they anticipated.
Much like the priestess's cell was not here. Hence the existence of the town. So he cannot say anything.
While the cats are away, the mice will play, but I think that we've brought a lot to this town that is not necessarily kind, and that we should just we'll see what they say. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Salinger saved everybody in this town, and he's still my boyfriend for all intents and purposes, and
I get to pick an outfit.
Well, you start with that, and I will browse on this side.
Peach would, once they get to a shop,
she would monopolize whatever clerk or employee is working there, and she would be ordering what seems like a whole new wardrobe. Peach doesn't particularly have money, but she does sort of assume that she will just get some things. She's very charming.
I'll just I'll go ahead and say that Zephyrus is there with y'all.
I can get us the tiniest hat, like the tiniest hat. Zephyrus, are you cold? Like lick this eye for yes and this eye for no.
Zephyrus, should we get as a top hat? Just buzz up a little bit higher. Oh, yes, that would be a hilarious, yet also good look.
Beth is standing behind Peach, shaking her head. No.
Not a top hat. No. Ez. I think Ez would look nice with a very tailored shirt, though. To go
and a really long scarf with many
like a tall
straps.
collar.
Oh, yeah, you know what? That would be better fashion. Something scholarly like.
But also
So
something
what-
that does not get stained easily by grease. I guess the more durable
Metal?
color, the better. What? No, we can't get a metal shirt. Go with like chain. No, because that would really interfere with his ability to do
We
anything
can
else.
armor afterwards. Islam, we are here at the dress and shirts shop, okay? It doesn't say forge. It says fibrous beings.
Well, this is sort of. This is a dwarven town. I mean, look at this. And she holds up a shirt dress that's mostly just like a very light chainmail looking thing. And then it's kind of like slightly Viridian green tinted. And then she puts it over herself. It's like, actually, it doesn't look bad, but it's maybe a little bit scandalous.
Only
Yeah,
because
Peach-
you're so tall. You've got way more legs than they anticipated.
Peach kind of goes pink. Yeah, also it's kind of close to your skin. It sort of looks like you're not wearing a top.
Wait, no, but do get that
Oh.
one because then you could layer it with another one and it'll be great.
Yeah, it's fashion.
I could just wear it by itself too. I guess it's a little cold to be doing that now though.
Mm-hmm. Looks good on you, Ixalan.
Oh, they've got a lot of ones like this though. I mean, I think this color would look really good on you when she finds one that's sort of like the silvery blue and puts it up against Rhea. It's very much like the things you wear. There's just a lot of else of it.
You find her trying on hats, but they don't go over her horns. I just would feel bad if I poked a hole in these just for. But I think it would be nice. I mean, what do you think? Is it like weird that it's over? Maybe like I need a snood, that can envelop the horns and.
From halfway across the room, sort of half in a dress, corset around, attended by multiple store employees by this point, Peach hollers, yeah, they'll tailor it for you. All right, we can go find a haberdasher if we need to get something specific. Get something you like.
I think when you're in this shop, just by happenstance, you see that Fane is there. He hasn't noticed you yet, but you see that he's trying on extremely fancy hats.
He's also got this same dress Echelon was looking at tucked under his arm.
Later.
Fits him a little bit better though.
It's elegant on Fane's stature.
It's a bit more like a long dress.
Also, do folks recognize us? Are we famous?
No, I think we're troublemakers. I think we really, really should try not to draw attention.
People definitely recognize you. You're in costume.
The crew is like thinking they were going to have a day off, and instead these are the people coming in during the blizzard. Everyone else is staying home, and they're just like, ah.
Beth has picked out a white crisp shirt identical to her current shirt that was no longer white.
Actually, yeah. Like there's just like a couple essentials that like sort of she's picked up and folded.
Ooh, these chains. Even if you don't go for a hat, I think this would look really nice on your horns. And she pulls out a little headdress that was meant to just be over the head, but it kind of sits on her horns really well and then like drapes down across her face.
Okay,
You could even attach a little veil to it.
But honestly, just imagine this though, with like the little horn caps that Casey gave me, and then this, and then actually it might not be a bad addition because I do wear the veil, and though the veil is a little tattered on the end, and I should probably trim that bit off.
Beth suddenly looks like old flushed and she turns to Ray and she goes, Casey gave you horn caps? What about the ones I made you?
I thought that was from Casey. Wait.
Are they
Different horn caps.
Did you guys both give me horn caps? Which one do you think this will look better with? She'll hold up like one of each.
the ones that Beth made you were metal?
Casey's are basically sparklers. Or chooses the little metal babies.
Beth seems jealous.
Yeah. There is certainly a moment in the montage of your shopping.
Wait, I choose yours.
When you're turning a corner and it almost seems perfectly placed. You see what seems to be a winter clothing store. There's a little dwarf woman on the front. She's sweeping snow. off of the porch, and you can see the title of the name of the store is "So for the Winter." And she spots you, and her eyes widen. She gestures you over.
Araya has like the small bag of like the fancy thing, but worm things. I know that like the cold isn't really bad for me, but I'm cold. Like my feet are always cold.
She's, oh, come inside. It's getting colder. We have all of the best winter fashions. You're going to need it. We have the thickest boots, the warmest coats, long capes that only cover one side. That's in right now.
One side. No. Okay, so when we arrived here in this town, somebody had mentioned that I wasn't wearing what the maiden was supposed to wear during her winter season, that I was still in her autumn season. I really just was curious what did that mean?
Come with me. Takes your hand, drags you.
Ah!
Esmond, you focus in and hear Casey say, and then bam, you hit it with your lightning, cracks open a portal, and then we can get back in time. And then his voice slowly becomes more and more muffled as you refocus onto your studies.
Just when you think you're getting back into the roof, the door flies open, slams against the hinges. Table bumps up in the air just from all the force of it opening. Esmond!
What?
Can you cast cold magic?
Sort of?
Ooh.
No, of course you can. I can as well.
What? Yes. Oh, excellent. Okay. I've been working on something, and I want you guys to help. Because I can do the first part of it, but the second part of it is only a theory right now. So, we need to find an open room that's bigger than this one, probably. Yeah, definitely bigger than this room. Take just a minute.
Sure. Let me just finish up this section here, and I'll come meet you.
Try to keep up. Casey kicks off and runs out of the room.
She's
Esmond,
about to.
I was going to say Esmond will not show up for at least an hour. You're going to have to come get him again.
Yeah, she leaves, chasing after Casey. It doesn't take an hour. After about exactly 7 minutes, the door flies back open. She comes and grabs him and starts hauling him back towards the other room.
Wait, I wasn't done with that.
Nope. Okay, all right, in the other room. A slightly larger room, whatever. It can be outside, doesn't matter. Okay, so I was trying to help and realized that people still keep getting hurt, and I thought about it, and okay, walls. I haven't tried walls before, but okay. I practiced, and I know of one, and I know this will work for the first part, but so just watch this one. And she's going to cast a spell, which is... I won't post it, I'll just tell you. She casts a spell, which is a wall of water sort of appears up in the room. And it's standing in the middle of the room. And that's only about 10 feet wide, probably filling up most of the width of the room. Just in the middle of it, basically. She's like, okay, it can get bigger than this, but this is for illustration's purpose only. Okay, so I think if you try to cast through it, it should freeze solid. I'm going to post the spell. And yeah. So it could be used as a barrier, or if I turn it in a different direction, I don't know, we could do different things with it, but I think it'll work. So she looks at both of you guys. So zap it.
I have to check what ice spells that I have. I was not prepared for this.
Casey starts to speak a slow, deep word in Ignan, and he kind of reaches into his pouch as he moves his other hand, and when he brings his hand out, a ball of energy is in his hand, and he throws it through as he casts Chromatic Orb,
Nice.
doing cold damage.
There's a blast, and in an intricate pattern, the water that's swirling there from his spell solidifies into ice.
She squeals.
Very nice.
This is the only ice spell I can find right now. Esmond casts Ice Knife.
Espen's ice knife hits the wall, and then pieces of shrapnel go flying throughout the room, sticking into the wood all around you, barely missing your face by inches.
Okay. Kind of a perfect success. It works, but it's
wait.
visual.
Wait, can you do it? Can you do the wall of water again?
Yeah, she says. And as she begins to cast, all the shards of glass that have shattered onto the floor look like they quickly dissipate, almost evaporating into nothing, dissipating once, and then in front of you, once again, the wall reappears just as it was previously.
Hit it with lightning, as.
That seems like a very bad idea in this tight of space.
It'll be fine. I can take care of anything that happens. We'll be fine.
I mean, do you want me to do it?
Yeah, just do it, Casey.
Wait, you can do that now?
Well, I mean, it's not as impressive as like when you do it, like the big.
Oh, hold on. Let me put my hand in it. I'll see if it works. So she sticks her hand into the wall of water. Okay. Hit it.
Casey grins and snaps his finger, and another ball of energy appears in his hand, kind of shifting and rotating between different elements. And then, right as he leans back to throw it, it changes to lightning, and as he throws Chromatic Orb again. This time with lightning damage.
Yeah. Ava has her hand inside the wall, clenched as a fist, turning looking away. And I don't know if she gets damaged or not. I don't know if that works.
Interesting.
Ball of lightning going through a wall of water.
Yeah. So I think my question here is, was the ball on a trajectory to hit Ava, and when you aimed, or not?
No. He's just throwing it through the wall of water.
And Ava's seeing if the electricity hitting the wall would electrocute something that is in the wall.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Casey. Is it your intention for that to happen?
Yes.
Please make a charisma ability check.
Oh, that's my best thing.
You take 12 points of lightning damage. As lightning arcs through the wall of water, down through your body.
It worked!
Yeah, she screams out. She's like, shit! And she drops out, sort of shocks and falls back. And then she starts laughing and grinning, like, oh. Yeah, it worked.
No, this is great. We can definitely use this.
I can make it bigger, too. I can make it like a circle. I can do different things.
Yeah, so essentially, we'll kind of do, when you guys want to do weird stuff like this, we'll do kind of a risk-reward thing. Like, you'll get some sort of skill check if you're trying to do something like this, and if it works, you might do what you want. If it fails, it might have been worse than when you heard the original spell.
Fair.
Cool. All right, she says a small incantation and waves her hand, and you notice a very a spell you've seen her cast multiple times. She draws energy into herself and sort of heals from the pain of the aftershock, the lightning. As she pulls herself up off the floor, still grinning, she's like, "Okay, well, I'm not sure what else we can do, but I'm good for now. So, I guess, Esmond, you can go back and study. If you can beat us both back to the room, but otherwise, you have to go shopping." She takes off running. Back to the room.
Casey turns to chase after her, and the tip of the great sword gets hung on one of the tables and slows him down a bit right as he's starting. And he moves out of the way and sprints after her.
All right. Well, at the end of a long montage day of shopping, you have returned to the tavern. Bags full of clothes, of winter clothes, if you desire them, from So for the Winter, Vedra, the seamstress, having been more than happy to offer each of you a discount for your, in some way, mythical figures amongst the people of the town. Ava, as you perhaps at some point find yourself standing at the doorway of the tavern, feeling your way through the coming days of weather, you realize you can't foresee any days ahead that will not be above the deepest winter that you've experienced. It's going to be cold, and it's going to be cold for a long time.
Well, shit. She starts to make her way back in, and yeah, she's gonna go and try to find whoever's kind of closest nearby, maybe talking in the fire, sitting in a small group, and relay the news. So I guess anyone who wants to be there can.
Yeah, we'll say in for that particular moment, anyone who wants to be there in the main body of the tavern, where there is food and bread and fire, more than welcome to be there.
I'll be off by the fire.
Esmond will be there. I'll say that this is a rare break for him.
Friend time.
Well, I was going to say good news and bad news, but I guess for the most part, it's probably mostly bad. Good news, I guess, would be that I think we're all needed a break, and it seems like we kind of got one. The bad news is we got to make a tough choice as to whether or not we're just going to stay for the winter, which is going to probably be a long one, or pack everything up, because as best I can tell, this weather's not letting up, probably for the whole season.
Well, to clarify a little bit, the blizzard will likely end. It is sort of in the midst of ending, but it's gotten much colder, and it's going to stay cold.
Gotcha. All right, I'll retcon that. The blizzard should be winding down, but its travel is not going to be fun, even with all the fancy new gear. Mostly it's going to be pretty cold.
I mean, there was always going to... This was going to happen eventually. It was been gradually changing over time, but we were going to hit a point where travel was going to become very cold and very difficult at some point.
That we should move as soon as possible. Especially since have you been in contact with the stem cell girl?
No, I don't think any of us have been in contact with her.
Have they received messages from her?
Yeah, we gave the radio, right?
Drawing thing.
Oh, it was the drawing thing.
Yeah, Somsel had the speaking stone to, I think, speak with the other NPCs, and you guys had the Etch-a-Sketch, if I remember correctly, to speak with Somsel.
Okay. I knew there was some kind of like link, but I couldn't remember which way it went.
You can speak with
Because-
Somsel through Etch-a-Sketch.
Because it's getting colder and it's only going to get worse for the people of Shepherdsend as well. I think getting there, well, getting the stone tower and finding out what's there is the most important. And then we also need to. This place has the best chance of anybody getting through what's to come ahead, with the caves beneath, the food there, etc. They need to come here.
GM, while during the scene, Esmond will actually, I don't know who has it, but Esmond will take the etch and sketch and try and communicate with Samsol to see where she's at, if she can confirm safety, location, whatever.
Right. Yeah, and so what are you trying to communicate to Somsel?
I mean, initial inquiry would be, are you okay?
Please roll performance.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Maybe Peach should write this.
Dexterity performance? Give you maybe a little.
Oh my god.
Oh, pretty good. You get back what you perceive to be a thumb and a sheep.
I misheard. What? A what and a sheep?
It looks
A thumb.
It looks like it's a thumb. I think that means okay. I think that means that they are okay.
Oh, sheep is shepherd's end. Yeah.
Okay.
Or in the stable.
I think thumbs up sheep is everything is okay in ships.
So Esmond will actually pass this over to Peach. Turns out that I might not be as dexterous and can communicate as easily since, missing digits. So,
It's never
I mean, I
held you
don't think
back
it comes down to the.
before.
I think that, I mean, if anything, it will be how charming you come across in whatever you're etch-a-sketching.
in a
Not your dexterity.
in a draw it.
Why don't
Okay.
you help me figure what to draw and I'll help you draw it?
Okay. We just need to ask if the people from Mirwood have arrived yet. Next.
Okay, I'll take control over the drawing of it all. But what should we do to represent how we're gonna say Muirwood and things like that? Tell me what all shapes to send.
Are we gonna hunt
Help
through
me
our
ask in
emojis and
emojis.
send it to you? Hold on.
Yes, ask in emojis. Please.
Everybody roll intelligence.
You not just draw letters? And I think
That's not
actually
how it's simple.
Ishilon would be like, cannot you just draw letters with this? Like you have to draw pictures.
I'm rolling bad tonight, gang.
What are we rolling? Intelligence?
Mm-hmm. Just intelligence.
I did save by accident. Should I roll?
Sorry.
I did a save by accident.
If it's a different number. Sure. No. Well, Kabeth got it. Kabeth, you remember... Wait. Briggs Bramblehorn said they weren't even going to try to leave Mirwood for like a while, like weeks. Like they were going to use the food in Mirwood to survive as long until they had to leave Mirwood to go to Shepherd's End because you were concerned about being able to feed them in Shepherd's End.
You guys, they probably haven't left yet. I mean, they still had some stores and they were going some food with them, but they had more than they could carry, so they were going to stay there for a bit and then go.
Should we have them come here?
Oh, that was going to be my. I was going to suggest that to all of you. I don't know when we're going to be able to return to Shepherd's End or Muirwood at this rate, and this place has food and shelter for way more people than this village currently hosts. It definitely has at least enough for the survivors in Shepherd's End and Muirwood and all themselves still to last a while.
That lender's gift to us.
It's just a matter of actually getting them here.
Well,
And past the crystal spider.
Well, the crystal spider isn't an issue as long as no one performs magic in its vicinity, but it's still a treacherous journey, more so now after that blizzard hit.
well, it's, the best of a lot of bad options, right? They either go back to our hometown, and there's definitely not be enough food. They stay where they are, they don't have enough food, or they come here. So, really, there's no other option that I can think of.
Yeah, and we can't keep putting off going to the Stone Tower. As much as I would prefer to go to Shepherd's Inn and gather everyone and bring them here.
Okay, well, let's just bite the bullet, so to speak, and tell the mayor that numbers that he could expect, and give an estimate for whatever period of time we think they might take, and then we leave it up to the fates of them to make it, and we go on towards the tower.
Let's start drafting a message, I guess, to send to them to, I guess, begin traveling to Alengay's Pass as soon as possible.
Shouldn't we tell the mayor first? He's gonna have to accommodate the people. It just seems like it would be, maybe he doesn't mind.
No, he's not going to have much of a choice. I'm not letting our people stay in a dying town with no food when there's a perfectly suitable place now.
That's
We're
fair.
not going to turn them away when 100 people turn up on their doorstep.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Okay.
But
Yeah,
we'll also speak with him and let him know what is happening, at the very least, yes.
Yeah.
Roll, anyone who wants to roll history, investigation, or survival, your choice.
This is what I get for picking survival for the first time.
Ooh.
34 investigation.
Yeah, Esmond, you've probably already maybe been working on the math. The fields around Shepherd's End are mostly like spring, summer, autumn, right? The winter output is not very good, but the winter output of the Temple of the Maiden is quite good. Similar, not as high in quantity, but similar makeup as Alengay's Pass. Alengay's Pass seems to have a very, very high food production designed to feed more people than are here in the town. The problem is that there is no road that connects Alengay's Pass to Shepherd's End or to Muirwood at the moment.
So is it a matter of the people of Shepherd's End wouldn't be able to navigate easily or at all to travel to Alengay's Pass?
Well, no, I mean, people could navigate, but eventually, I mean, it would be slow going. You have an infrastructure set up right now where people are delivering food between the temple and Shepherd's End, right? You don't have that set up between Alinga's Pass and Shepherd's End.
Oh, well, sure, yeah. They wouldn't, like, originally it was a week's worth of travel, but now it would be doubled, if not tripled, I imagine.
Yeah.
What if we just try to send him a map? Like, we traveled.
People getting lost isn't so much the concern as the inefficiency of trying to transport the food.
Oh, yeah. I think that what we're discussing right now is just bringing the survivors from the zombie decimated town to this town, and that's the only thing we're talking about doing. We're not moving any food at all.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my understanding too. Moving people, not food.
Wait, what about the Aranakis tribe? Weren't they? We sent them off to protect Shepherd's Inn, right? Wouldn't they also be able to protect them if they were to begin traveling towards here?
No, they didn't go to Shepherd's End. They're in the surrounding woodlands hunting. The last time you saw them, they didn't come with you. They separated from you.
Great, and we have no communication with them.
What are you thinking? What does that pose a problem?
Well, we've uncovered survivors as we go, and we worried about sending them to Shepherd's End. Shepherd's End is mostly well situated to survive this. If this is a survivable place because of its nature of being underground and outside of the direct cold, then Shepherd's End boasts the temple, which is a place of safety, of sanctuary, really.
Well, the
and
the
food.
issue.
We could send new survivors here, is what I mean.
The issue is that the temple, while it does have winter crops, it isn't built to sustain winter crops over an extended period of time. Allengaze Pass is designed in the exact opposite manner, so...
No, the temple definitely has food that they can do over an extended period of time.
It's Shepherd's End, though. It has trouble with winter.
Would not, if I remember right, it was just that the temple did not have enough to support everyone left for however long it lasts, next 100 years.
Well, this will be easy because we just have to solve one piece at a time. If we can get the survivors from Zombie Town here, they can communicate with Shepherd's End, and then Shepherd's End can start sending people as needed to make the journey here until there's only enough people left that the town can sustain itself. And then people can ride out the winter here, and then when the season comes and it gets a little bit better, they can go back.
Something I think everyone would immediately be aware of, though, is in terms of there's definitely enough food production, but in terms of just like living space for people, Alinga's Pass doesn't have the capacity to like support all the people of Shepherd's End or something or anything like that.
The temple that we were in, I guess I was exaggerating in my mind how many people could stay in the underground.
Well,
we then destroy
idea.
all of the dwarves that are down there and take over their spot, which seems a bit...
There was a very big cave system beneath that they saw. So, assuming the white pudding has cleared it out at this point, and the people of Mirwood don't mind living with a possibly homicidal pudding.
Well, so you guys collapsed the tunnels that lead into those underground things already. So maybe
we didn't know about that because I think Esmond did that as well, didn't he? Oh wait, no.
No, we knew.
You all would have heard about it.
I didn't know this.
You would have seen it on the way up at the very least. Yeah, you guys can have a new conversation about that. But yeah, so as it stands right now, all the tunnels that lead into the deep have been collapsed, and there is enough space in the Temple of Brynhilde for people.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, Ava's like, wait, they can just stay in the temple. I mean, there's plenty of room down there, and like Araya was saying, it's a safe place. So it's sort of like there's enough space and there's enough food for people to ride out the winter here.
Kind of thought that's what we were talking about the entire time. to be
Yeah.
honest.
Well, I just,
Oh.
you know how we found survivors in Muirwood, and we sent them to Shepherd's End, but we were kind of concerned about the undue burden on Shepherd's End. I think if we run into any future individuals, that sending them here is the right call. They're well suited, and they're gearing us up before we go, and who knows where our journeys will take us and what we'll discover or happen, or if winter never ends.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, let's do that. Esmond, or Peach, tell him to come here. All right. I guess you can be the strong
Sorry,
silent
I-
type.
She's sassing you right now.
No, sorry, I'm dealing with some personal stuff. My
Oh,
apologies.
sorry.
Sorry. Peach would hold up the tablet and go, all right, so tell it to me in pictures, because this thing is really hard to write actual words on.
Just do a little map and say, come here, and circle the town. Or, like, draw a pathway from where they are to where we are, just in like a route.
Peach would attempt to do that.
Little drumstick plus house sign.
Describe to
Peach
me.
attempts a simple map.
Okay. Describe to me what you're sending one more time, sorry. You're sending this to Samsel.
Yes, we're trying to encourage the people from Muirwood to come here, Ava, to this place. Yeah.
Yeah, you got
Yeah, to Olengi's Pass.
I mean, what do you draw?
Oh, she draws a lovely map that looks a lot like the map on Roll20.
Roll performance. Oh,
Include the tower, because that'll
I was going to say,
send them in the
if
right
you
direction.
include the tower and circle the town next to the tower to give better indication of where exactly we want them to come to.
Peach will do
Okay.
that.
Good ideas.
This is
And I
totally
will
like
roll performance.
an art director moment where you just have a bunch of people standing behind one artist's computer and they're all like making.
The tower
That's
doesn't
a
really
23 plus 3.
tower doesn't really pop though.
Plus
Could you
four,
like
plus 4.
maybe
Okay. You get back.
No, you fuck the tower. You gotta start over.
You get back what looks like a sheep on a road and a question mark.
Samson wants to know if the Shepsand folks should come too.
I mean not if they're doing
Or
fine
Mary?
there.
Wait, just on the same thing you've got, just around where Shepherd's End is, make a little sheep, and then point the arrow back towards this town as well.
It's going to take me a minute. Samson's message came up. I got to redraw that whole map again?
It was so good the first time. Just do the same thing. But faster.
Peach rolls for 4.
Can we? Let's make it sexy.
It's
Let's
not
get
quite as
sexting
good, but
going.
it's not quite as good, but it's very good.
Yeah,
It's
you get
pretty
back. You get back a drawing of what looks like zombies heading towards the town.
We should warn the mayor.
No, I think that's actually just a really, really poor interpretation of a humanoid.
She's just not as talented as you, Peach.
She can't hear us through this, right? Because that would be so upsetting, I'm sure.
No, she can only read what I write or I draw. Well, zombies coming to Shepsand is not a good thing to say. What?
We did
Peach
run
sends
into
back
that
the
little band of
question mark.
zombies.
What did you say?
You see what looks like zombies walking towards Allengate's Pass is what you get back.
Oh, toward Olengi's Pass. Okay.
Coming from here.
What?
One of the zombies has
indicates-
horns.
Okay, one of the zombies has horns. Interesting.
No.
Well, either this means that everyone in Merowith died and they are now zombies, or she just can't draw for shit.
Peach
Or
would do her very best to write in common, using the Etch-a-Sketch of it all, so a line underscoring everything if necessary. Are you all okay? Question mark.
What you find is that you're trying to do all the words. Like it's when you get to like towards the end, it starts to delete the beginning. Like you just don't have enough detail You don't have enough pixels to do all that.
Are you okay? 4 letters. Peach is a millennial, Chris. Are you okay?
Roll, roll.
Rook. What's Rook? I don't know. What are you? She just said Rook.
I said 30 plus 3.
Samsel's
Very
actually
elegantly.
Peach invents the fucking emoji.
It's got a little heart at the bottom of the question.
No, Samsel's actually illiterate. It's why she insists on drawing.
Yeah, you get back what looks like maybe Samsel wearing sunglasses.
Okay, I think they get it. Let's tell the mayor, and honestly, I'm kind of getting a little of what Esmond felt, I think. I feel like it's past time for us to move on anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
But I feel like we'll need to get a little bit fatter for the winter. Just like a little bit extra around the middle.
Ava looks her up and down and is like, some of us are fine. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. She doesn't do that.
Psychic damage.
Oh my god.
It's a new robe, Ava.
I'm joking.
Ava Porter?
I'm joking.
Oh, those clothes.
Ava.
This new style has changed her.
Peach comes at
No,
her.
No,
Not
pure
so
pure
array
shit.
of
They
Pure-
got clothing like Lily, so just turned her into a...
Yeah, just
GM, I have one question for you. It would determine whether or not Esmond feels ready to go. Over the past 4 or 5 days, however long it's been, have I been able to? How much more studying have I been able to complete between the book and the journal found from Muirwood? Am I close to completion at this stage?
Oh, yeah, you're getting close, but there's like another day or two of blizzard left. Like you're not leaving that day. So I'm going to do some other scenes leading up to the very end of the blizzard.
Yeah, I mean, give me another day or two. That way I can have a stronger grasp on what exactly our situation is magic wise. And we avoid potentially summoning more interdimensional creatures to that mean us harm. And I think we'll be ready to go.
All right, what do we need to do in 2 days? Does anyone have anything? Snowshoes?
I actually have to go
Probably
AFK.
whip
I'll
some
be right
up.
back.
But before that, speaking of magic, I have some questions for you, Esmond. And she's just going to pull out some of the notes that are really weirdly scrawled and they're like half sketches as well. And she starts to question him about some of the stuff they had talked about the weave when she randomly accosted him at points throughout the previous day.
Oh yeah, let's. Esmond will sit next to you and kind of start going over your notes, and we'll start talking aside from everyone.
Well, I guess we're gonna need as much food as we possibly can get. Food, snowshoes, anything else? Tents?
I mean, Peach has that kind of hut she can make.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
We are so lucky.
Wow, okay. That makes everything so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can make the wander and wanderlust whenever
You need, but it ain't full of food, Ava. If we don't bring supplies, we'll need to. It doesn't provide everything.
Right. Okay, still need the food.
What's the most important thing that we need? Like fruit, right?
Well,
Vitamin.
hang on just a moment. And Peach would look at Ava. Now that we ain't in the Wander and Wanderlust, this is a real life tavern and all. Can you try that spell you tried before when you try to make food appear? Now that we ain't in one of those liminal spaces?
Esmond pipes up from helping Ishlan. It's not going to work regardless. It's an issue with the weave of magic itself. It doesn't have to do with the with pocket dimensions or anything like that specifically.
Casey brightens up a bit at this talk. Wait. No, I have something. One of those interdimensional beings you're talking about. That's Shalati. Shalati's one of them. If you make the Wandering Wanderlust
Well, so is the
and
Angel of
Doc,
Doors,
you
though,
cast the
Casey.
spell. No.
Casey, we can't just open this up. The Angel of Doors will come through and she'll kill us all or whatever she does. Send us all through space and time like Salinger.
Lottie is not someone who comes from the other dimensions like the angel is.
I mean, the door will work the same regardless, right?
Intentionally ripping a hole is a foolish thing, Casey.
I mean, that's what we're going to have to do.
Desmond, as they're having their conversation, you realize you don't know what it is right now, but you realize there's something that's bothering you. Something about the math. You're not sure what it is yet.
Casey and Peach are continuing to argue in the background.
Esmond suddenly stands up. Ishlan, come find me in a little bit. I need to run some equations. I'll be upstairs, and Esmond's gonna jaunt off up to his room.
Peach would say to Casey, also, look, you have to... She kind of shoots eyes across the room at Ixalan. You have to think about what all was traded and sacrificed. It isn't just about getting Shalati back. What if, sometimes you gotta just deal. Sometimes you gotta let it go. And I'm not saying we should let Shalati go, but don't go ripping holes in the universe to try and find your lost love, Casey. You can't do that to everyone else.
If it means getting her back, I would do it 100 times over.
Well, thankfully...
Peach is kowtowed.
It won't come to that, because... And she looks at Esmond and Echelon, because Esmond will figure out a way to make a door instead of a tear. And then we can walk through it and find her, instead of whatever it would be if we just tore something open.
Esmond has already run upstairs.
Yeah. She's saying this in his absence.
I mean, whether it's opening a door, tearing a hole in reality, or jumping back through time, we're going to get Shalati back.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of carrying this thing. And he turns and the end of the sword slams into one of the tables as he leaves the room.
Drink falls on the ground.
Echelon, if you could tell him he could just tuck that back part in, it would probably not keep doing that. You should have you...
I tried.
He could also maybe carry it a little higher on his back.
Have you Casey to actually listen to anyone else?
You just saw him win an argument that I won. Of course I can't get anything through to Casey.
I think that's why we have to find Shalati, because, yeah, he would listen sometimes. Not often, though. Okay, well, I suppose we've got 2 days of time to kill or time to prep, so, Peach, you've got the bag and you know food, so you start figuring out some on your end and I'll figure out some plants, and maybe... I guess anyone else who wants to try to pitch in. We've got the place to stay, just some shoes and traveling clothes, and food, and I can't think of nothing else.
Well, if you're here and while I'm still in this mode, that quiet thing was also seemed pretty useful. Do you work in the same way we're talking about with his weave and...
Sorry, out of character. You cut out just a little bit. Say the same thing. I just didn't understand what you said.
That quiet thing that you did where we got all muffled, and that seemed really useful as well. It sort of felt... I felt like I could sort of understand a little bit, maybe. Can you walk me through it
Oh,
when you have a moment?
Sure. You mean like the one where everything just goes dead quiet?
Yep, that one.
Oh, yeah, that's. I mean, there are different ways of doing it. Esmond's is slightly different than mine. Do you want something that you have to feel out, or something that you just like repeat and memorize?
I guess I will. I'm not very good at memorization, so I suppose if it's something that I can just kind of
Okay.
instinctive.
Yeah, that's the way I have to cast it, so I can show you that. Yeah, won't even take that long. It will probably to actually do it, but to get the idea of it won't take long. And Ava will go and to teach her what she knows.
Later that night. All right. You are maybe at the small writing desk, maybe in bed. It's the small room that you have here, the tavern in the Lingers Pass. You're going through Saloise's journals. You've been reading through the different notes she's taken, scattered throughout what seems to be one journal of several journals. This one seems to be a few years old. Reading her variety of writings, the interviews that she's done. There's something that you're beginning to realize. There's a connection between the pieces of Saloise's research some fragments of rubbings that have been included in the journals. There's a connection that you're beginning to make on your own based upon her research. Please make a religion roll or investigation. Your choice. 23. There's an idea that you're beginning to see emerge in Saloise's research. Something she hasn't explicitly said, but you're seeing the patterns in what she was interested in. And what you're beginning to conclude is that in the old stories, the aspects of people are reflections of the gods. But as you see more and more research into ideas and different interviews, the period after the vanishing of the gods, when only the maiden has remained, you're beginning to realize that Saloise had a suspicion that there was a time before the gods that from the very nature of being, the gods emerged. And in the time since the gods have been gone, that it's from the aspects of people themselves and the world that the gods emerge again. That it's possible, perhaps, that it could be from the tendency, the aesthetics, the abstraction of courage or kindness or even suffering, that a god could be born.
She's taking notes in her own tome next to Saloise's, but leaving behind small scraps of notes and whatnot. Each little sort of like connection from this to that, and maybe a little strip of fabric or thread between one to the other, just thinking of maybe the potential for there to be a lot of, since she's left, Shepparton has been trying to find the gods and make them hear her so that they can still help her and the rest of the world, right? But maybe there's something more that she hasn't considered that's out there. So if Casey is confident enough, he could imbue confidence into the world in the form of a god? No. Maybe. No, what? No, I shouldn't put this in the frame of Casey. Casey's the least likely person to want to acknowledge the existence of a god. No, this is means there's even hope in the darkest of times.
As you're reading, with a 23, there's one more piece of information that you come across, or connection that you make. The common tongue has a very limited number of words for gods, but some other languages, in some ways, as sort of notated in her journals, there is a much more robust variety of words for gods. And in referencing different old stories in art, something becomes apparent. That there are old stories, potentially, that come from a time before there were people, when all there was were gods. And there was something that the gods feared. Perhaps that same night, you're in your room. You've been doing the math. There's something wrong with the math. Something Peach said, something Casey said. You've been reading the letters between Magrin and Blue. Magrin's journal, her research. There are new arithmetic, arcane concepts you've been introduced to. Things that have begun to change some of the ideas you've been considering. Please roll investigation. You have advantage if you're proficient in Arcana.
I am proficient. Bad roll. 27.
27. There's still something that you're missing, but you've come to one concerning conclusion. You've checked it and double checked it and triple checked it. You've seen it work, the door jam. You've seen it close, open the portals. But the math, you realize you're sure. The sunstone that you use to power the door jam does not have the power to do what it's been doing. It cannot produce enough power to open and close the doorways unless there's something fundamental in what you think the doorways are that is wrong.
Cool. Gonna stay up all night researching that specific topic.
We'll say probably maybe the next morning. I mean, actually, I'll do a different thing. As you decide to stay up, it's when you are at your small desk late in the night. Maybe candle going, still light outside the window. You realize something. Maybe double check your watch. Nighttime is only 2 hours now.
Phenomenal. Yeah. I'm gonna stay up all night. I'll make that note about night getting shorter. First thing in the morning, at the moment I hear that Ava is awake, I'm going to go find her.
You'll probably have to interrupt a scene because there's a scene I want to do with Ava, but it's early in the normal scale of morning, and really everyone should be asleep. And Ava, you maybe you had a little trouble sleeping, and it's about time you had a bath. You're heading down to the bathhouse, and no one's awake in the tavern, seems like. As you approach the door that leads into the bath, you hear Araya. She's talking to someone. And you notice this with your keen ears before you really reach the door. You're just outside of it. You haven't announced your presence yet or opened the door. She's talking to someone.
Yeah, it's sort of instinctually, as she sort of hears this unexpected situation, she pauses as her hand reaches out to sort of have opened the door and sort of draws back, and she just stops where she is, trying to at first just think, wait, someone's up. Who's up? Oh, it's Araya. Who is she talking to? All these questions sort of flinting through her mind as she just stands there for a minute and begins to inadvertently eavesdrop before she even realizes it. So she pauses outside the door.
Yeah, please roll perception based on hearing. $23.
And actually, I'm going to go ahead because I've got 10 points. I'm going to try to re-roll that one more time.
Okay.
What a waste.
You catch just a little bit, a snippet of what Araya is saying. The words kind of get too quiet for a moment, then they come back. What does he hear? Or what does she hear?
And then, she's written so much about how language really limits us in understanding the gods, that when the gods were only there, and I think that's why celestial is a better choice, but that there was something that they feared. But that gives me all the more reason to maybe be what the maiden represented. If it could bring that ability back here, don't you think that's the right thing to do?
Ava stays paused there for a moment. She can hear the sound of her own heart more than she can actually hear anything else, because she realizes what she's doing and is still kind of not entirely sure, waiting just to hear the voice of the other person so she can understand who she's talking to. Maybe she shouldn't go inside. Maybe she should. Maybe she shouldn't be listening. So she's working herself up. And after a moment, if there's no voice in response to what Araya says, she kind of, goes, and knocks on the door a little bit.
Yeah, and
then
you clear your throat and knock on the door, and as the door moves a little bit, there's a clink, clink, clink sound, and you realize you've knocked over a tin cup that must have just by happenstance been in front of the door.
Hello? Araya?
Who's there?
Hey! She sort of pokes her head in. Hey! She looks around the room.
Am I in the bath? Is this the baths?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the water is fully glowing.
And Ava, as you look around, there's no one in the room but Araya.
She goes, hey, I didn't think anyone was up still. I just had a hard time. Who? I heard you talking, I thought. Were you talking to yourself?
No, I was, well, I was trying to work through some things that I'd read, and talking it through helps make it a little clearer, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Who were you talking to? Who were you talking to?
It's a little complicated to explain, but think of it more maybe like praying, really.
Oh, yeah, no, okay, so like the maiden or so, whoever or something?
Not exactly, but yeah, kind of.
I was gonna take a bath because I smell.
You don't smell. Or wait, do you think do you smell yourself more?
I smell everything more.
Oh, I've been spending a lot of time in the baths.
I noticed it's glowing.
Well, no, it's just it. You know, leaving the temple behind, there was a lot left behind, both in terms of like practices and faith, and I really feel like this place was made in a way with that in mind. I feel right here, and
In the bath?
well, in the water, it's always been a place where I felt closer to understanding the maiden. You know the water's there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the one we found Gromp bathing in.
Maybe if we go back to the temple, yeah, it's no, I like it here, and it feels right here, and we have so much to make sense of, and talking with a higher power makes things more clear. Really, we're just people and kids trying to solve something that's affecting the entire world, and I feel that we can do it, and we can, you know. It's not just that we will, but that our faith that we can will make it so.
You've been hanging out with Casey a lot, she says as she finishes pretty much disrobing.
So, okay, I found these notes in Saloise's journals, which I have, and she talks so much about the gods, and so many gods, and I know that I've devoted my life to the maiden, and she did as well, but that it's so much more complicated than that. And and Casey's only right, but it's because people with greater faith can interpret his words in a way that gives them more depth than he intends them. I think that he's just being a braggart whenever he says these things. I don't.
I think he just genuinely believes it. It's like his own religion, she says, getting into the water and starting to splash around.
Honestly, maybe, but I think it's going to work for him, and we should have that kind of faith in ourselves, but also be more mindful in exactly what we represent. Sal has made us into something beyond ourselves, and we need to live up to that.
Dipping below the water and then coming back out, having like just sunken in there for a second, getting her hair soaked so it's back out of her head. She takes in a sort of a deep breath, lets it out slowly, and says, "You know, that's one of the only good things about feeling everything. When you can finally get into something like this, you can appreciate it so much more." Araya, I think I give you a hard time sometimes about religion because it's not something that, at least as far as we've been taught, we should want to flourish. We've been taught for pretty much our entire lives that engaging with gods doesn't lead to anything that is ultimately beneficial. They're smarter, they know more, and if they want anything to do with us, it's something that we should be wary of, because who knows what they might want, who could understand what they might want. So I'm kind of been wrestling with that for a while, though, because I still believe that, but when she sinks back in the water and comes back up, she probably looks and is acting a little bit more childish than you would think. But honestly, over the past weeks and months, have started to think that maybe everything that we were taught can't be trusted to be 100% true. So, I'm probably still going to give you a hard time sometimes about talking to these gods or whoever you're talking to. But I'm going to try to be a little bit more open-minded and empathetic about it. And I'd start right now by just saying, tell me everything you've tried to tell me since I came in this room, but just in a way that maybe someone who's a little more grounded and likes to be able to touch and see things and doesn't do so well with the highfalutin fate and powers and all that. Just, how are you feeling? Who are you talking to? What do you think we should do next? And yeah, just tell me. I don't know. Just talk to me, I guess, like a normal person might.
Well, as normal as I am. I was the temple of the maiden because of what had been left there. A remnant, a servant of her power. And I took it from the temple.
Was that bad?
No, it was necessary. A thing that's hidden and kept away. And it was necessary, but to hide the things of the gods, the gifts that they've left for us, to never serve the people that they're meant for. We're meant to help people. And the maiden, most of all, her entire goal has only ever been to help those in need, gods or people. And the idea of hiding any of that that's meant to serve. But there's more out there that's meant to help others. There are gods that are meant to make us stronger or that are filled with wisdom. And they certainly, like people, have their reasons for doing things, but the gods are deeply invested in people, in our world. And even the most selfish god you can imagine would not be served by whatever is currently happening. So trusting anyone beyond yourself. I know I'm right in following what the maiden guides us and what I'm meant to do. That's an easy thing because it's usually help them, heal them, show them there's hope or a different way, or serve what needs doing, even if it's the hard thing to do or the boring thing to do. But giving yourself to something that you don't fully understand is a part of faith. But never is my faith felt grounded in something not tangible.
I guess that's fair. Well, I don't still want anything to do with your god, but I have to say I can 100% get behind all of the goals that your god stands for. Sounds like if I ever got a chance to meet her, I'd like her.
So, so that, well, I think anyone would. That's nearly the point of her, but then obviously there's maybe mystery about her that I am missing, and I, having not met her in person, I would be overwhelmed. But one of the things that Sa Louise, so the high priestess of my temple, was writing about was, in the absence of gods, there can still be gods.
What do you mean?
Well, meaning, I mean, well, look, Salinger has made me an avatar of the maiden. But if by my being that in this world now brings the maiden back from nothingness, I've been very uncomfortable with the depiction of myself as the maiden because I find I'm not enough.
Well, I would say that is incredibly healthy. I think any person who saw themselves as a statue representing a god or ideal of something and said, "Yep, yeah, that might be that person I'd be more worried about." But whether or not it was intentional or happenstance, one of those confusing things that happens over the years or centuries or a millennium. I am tired. Regardless of how it came about, I think there are far worse people that could have been chosen than you. Because in all the time knowing you, as much as it is, you've been consistently trying to live out the values that you preach to everybody, and that's something I've always liked about you. So just keep on being a little uncomfortable, seeing yourself as representation of something, and I don't know. Don't get too hung up on it, because, I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just very tired and very happy in this bath.
No, and I'm happy you're here. I feel so. I try. Well, okay, I can't not be myself or pray to the goddess all the time, right? But just that maybe you don't hate it by concept is actually a real relief. Yeah, does that make sense? That makes sense. No. But
I think it does. But any more talk of this could probably wait for the road. I just want to relax, enjoy a little bit of quiet before anybody else gets up and it gets interrupted once again. Because we're going to be out in the cold, and this is the last bath I can see for quite some time.
Ava, Doc,
Hmm?
do you feel the cold more in the same way that you feel the warmth more?
Usually I would. But I got this, and she, holds up her arm, mostly covered in suds, and a bangle is sort of around her bicep, and she says, "So, I don't get cold. So, I'm really happy that we found this. Because otherwise,
really.
yeah, I think I would."
And Ava, as you're floating there in the golden water, you realize an annoying spot on your knuckle. You cut yourself on the ice when you're outside. You realize it's healed. You hadn't done that yet.
Your, water blessings are kind of cool. I won't say any more about it. Just very cool. And she, sinks back in and relaxes.
Okay. Well, yeah, there's time for all of that on the road, but enjoy what goodness we have now, because it might be something we're going to have to carry with us as a memory, a warm, lightweight, no gravity memory for a long time. Maybe there's a bath at the stone tower. We never know.
Casey, you, great sword in hand, made yourself your way across a couple of rooftops. Clear jump, slide. Find yourself heading out to this little spot you found's good for. It's a room to swing. You see that someone's already there. You see Beth with her new hammer under the snow. Wait, assuming that lights around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just to clarify, all the time that Casey has been carrying this great sword on the back, he's never once unsheathed it or gone to swing it around. But he approaches Kabeth. Hey, nice hammer.
She kind of swings it up, puts it over her shoulder, and gives him this big grin. And she's like, "Yeah, I really think that." And she kind of staggers a little bit as she does it, and she's like, "It's fine, fine. It's not heavy. It's fine. I don't know how I'm gonna carry this. There's so many things with plate armor and all the backpack and all the stuff, and I don't know. This is gonna be a problem."
You look right at home. It was made for your shoulder there. No.
Yeah, that's why I've been training. I mean, it's heavy. I This is a lot of weight to carry. She kind of eyes the sword on his back. It looks like you picked something up yourself there.
Yeah, his posture is slightly different from having this sword on his back. He's not quite as upright and puffed out as normal. He's a little shoulder slumped, but tries to play it off. No, it's just temporary. I'm just carrying it until I can give it to. So, do you need a sparring partner? You want to take a swing?
Do you want me to hit you with the hammer? Because that sounds like a terrible idea. I mean, not that we haven't done terrible ideas before, and sometimes they're kind of fun, but sometimes they also are not a good idea. Like the time I walked across fire, that didn't work out so well.
But you made it, though. And I don't want you to hit me with a hammer. I want you to try.
She kind of eyes him, just like, well, what are you? I mean, all right, fine. Got healing power. I probably won't kill you.
Yeah, Casey doesn't have any weapons on other than the sword on his back.
You do realize that if I do hit you with this, that you might get knocked like 20 feet across the field, right?
I guess I better be fast then.
Uh-huh. She grins at him and she becomes giant.
It's beneath her feet. Cracks as she grows large.
Hold on one second. I need to look at something real quick.
Casey looks up at her, grinning, and then kind of starts to shimmer out of focus, and then split into 2 Caseys, 3 Caseys, 4 Caseys.
I'm going to also, if we were doing like rolled combat stuff, I will activate my Peerless Athlete channel divinity, which gives me for 10 minutes some augmentation to my athleticism.
Well, as you make your challenged swing at Casey with the new hammer of Brunhilde, what's this look like?
Yeah, so Kabeth has gotten larger, and you see her kind of like get bigger. I know some of her armor sizes up with her. I assume that weapons kind of did too, and that's why you get extra damage. So she and this hammer suddenly get even bigger, and as she grins at you, you swear that like she's almost glowing a little bit, like warmth of fire is warming the metal of her very armor, even though it's like dark and dingy armor. Like she's kind of like polished it a little bit, but it's armor that she got from like a pile of it's dead forged, so it's like horrible. But you swear that it starts to glow a little bit from inside, and she's like, 2 of you, huh? That's fine.
There's four of Casey.
There's four of you.
And
I do like a challenge.
we are dodging. But yeah, take a swing as the 4 of them circle around Giant Kabeth.
Okay.
The
Chris,
wind
what am
around
I doing?
Casey shifts and blows.
Yeah, make an attack.
Let's see. Oh, I cannot talk and look at my sheet at the same time.
Yeah, Casey's dodging, just so you know.
Let's see if I didn't actually put this on my sheet correctly. Hold on.
It's okay if it's not on there yet. You can just do the manual roll 20 and just go through the pieces.
Yeah, the problem is I don't know the stats of it properly, because it's your description doesn't match what D&D Beyond has. So I was like, what is this called?
Oh,
Is it just a +3 Warhammer? Because you called it a Great Hammer, but that's not a thing.
it might be a maul in D&D Beyond.
Okay. Is it a maul or a Warhammer?
Maul, two-handed hammer.
If it had an axe on the other end of it, it could be a chopping mall.
That's a B movie.
Patrick, you should know I laughed in real life out loud in my room. I know I have camera off right now, but you should know that was a good joke.
In terms of the base weapon, it's like a D12, but there should be stats I can find.
1 second. Because I just checking, because like Warhammer goes in very differently from anything else I have. Okay, so it's a +10.
I'll just give you the same stats that Sean has here on the sheet.
I think I got it correctly.
All right, that's a 28.
Ooh, wait,
hit
Casey's dodging though, so roll disadvantage.
It's true. It's true.
Give me a chance here.
That's a dirty 20.
Casey's jump to the side and slide in the snow a little bit, and the sword gets caught on the ground just slightly, and the hammer passes through one of the Casey's and shatters it into bits as you hit one of the duplicates.
You see all the ground beneath, like cracks go out in every direction through the ice, and one of the trees nearby shakes and snow falls down. Dust and bits of snow are flurrying up into the air around. You can tell Kabeth had hit you with that. Oof.
Casey's continuing to circle. Are you seeing straight? I mean, it seemed like you were on target. But...
Yeah, you sure you want to keep going? You see what this does? You sure? I might like smush you into a puddle.
The Casey's are still circling you.
And we're just going to do the one thing, so we'll zoom out.
As she smashes a second duplicate.
Yeah, she'll keep going.
Cool. Nice. Okay. Does anyone want to do any particular scenes before Blizzard ends?
During the remaining days, Islan keeps herself. She can usually be found one of several ways. Either she has gone out to a nearby tree and chopped down some branches and started weaving them together into snowshoes, wetting and bending and clamping them until they form these rough, semicircles with tennis rackets. At one point, she idly amuses herself by bouncing a ball that she found somewhere against the wall with a snowshoe. And then, if she's not that, and then she's looking at her incredibly messy scrawled notes that constitute about half a page on some crumpled piece of paper she found somewhere, and making gestures some kind, and occasionally just in frustration. Nothing kind of quite seems to gel for her. And if not that, then she's sitting on the roof of the inn in the whipping snow, huddled up against one of the chimneys so that at least her back is a little bit warm, staring at the other side of that crumpled half piece of paper, on which seems to be the words of the poem that was in the room that had been slotted for her, or Shalati. Hard to tell, really.
So before too long, finally comes a day, and the worst of the gusting winds and the falling snows seem to have stopped. The entire landscape around the town has been covered in white. And though you know that the winter crops will do well in this, you know that it's colder now than it has been before. The blizzard is done, and though travel might be hard, it won't be any better in the future than it will be now. At some point in the comfortable morning, all of you have made your way down into the main body of the tavern.
Okay, I guess everybody's sound off. Got everything packed up and ready to go, because we're not coming back.
I wish winter clothes were lighter.
Look at Casey, he's barely wearing any winter clothes. You just wear that.
Casey, I bought you new socks.
Let's see 'em.
They're like orange, but like as flamey of colors, but they're wool socks. They're winter wool socks in fun little geometric, nice knitted design.
Nice.
As there's a shirt for you. You didn't have time for shopping, and it's a wool one, and I thought it was nice.
Esmond looks like shit and is barely paying attention. He's scrawling in his notebook still.
She tucks a folded small paper package into the back of your backpack. She's like, it'll just win tomorrow. Zephyrus agreed with me, so obviously I think he knows you best.
Yeah, sure, right.
Okay, I'm glad that everybody here took the time to take a bath, she says, eyeing Esmond, because it would be super, inconsiderate to just have to be in cramped quarters and traveling for long distances with somebody who didn't do that. That would just be terrible. All right.
You're going to maybe have to keep your mask on after a couple of days. I'm so sorry.
She says, she's pulling it on right now. Way ahead of you.
I mean, the tower's not that far, right?
Just a few days.
We've
Chris,
been
you didn't
further.
talk to the microphone.
In this weather, it could be a lot more time.
We can stop whenever we need to, though. I'm pretty sure I can set this thing up anywhere.
We are so lucky.
It's a shame you can't put it on the cart. Take it with us.
Really pretty amazing trip.
I don't know how that will work. I think it's got to be a stable ground, but maybe we've got a very generous DM. I mean, Brunhilde, the goddess.
So, just take more practice.
Esmond will blink very hard and slam his notebook closed and look up at all of you bleary-eyed. Oh, didn't realize where I was. Sorry. Is it time to go?
Should we tie like a rope around your waist so that you don't get lost?
No.
Maybe take the chance to dunk him in the bath right now, real quick. Before.
I don't know. We can't lose him right now.
Give me. I was up all night. Sorry. Give me 20 more minutes. I can do a quick bath and get my stuff together. And Esmond runs up the
top
stairs.
the top of your packet's clean.
We can wait 30 minutes.
You have
Ava
a coat too.
Oh, that's right. She picked a nice one. It's got buttons.
All right, well, let's make sure we have everything. Oh, I have to tell him about the plants. And she's just going to run off and, tell them that their harvest is going to be unusually good this year. And that some of the plants she left behind were some of the ones from the basement that she found. She put in different pots and let grow. And they can potentially grow them in basements just in case something happens and they can't leave. They can maybe have some stuff that can grow without sunlight.
Very nice. Yeah, as Ava's run off kind of to do this, and you see Thane approaches the group, and he's kind of got a pack on his back and a heavy coat, and he says, "I know they're going to be leaving soon, and what I wanted to ask, spent so much of my time here, my whole life in Lengus Pass, and with the old stories and seeing you all come here and knowing where you've been and where you're going. I want to go out and see more of the world. Maybe I thought I could come with you.
Oh, this guy picked
Yeah,
up
absolutely.
terrible time to travel the world. What a shitty time to choose to do this.
No, Fane, you're
isn't
brave
here.
and
He doesn't
amazing.
get his.
Yeah, you're brave and amazing, and you can help us translate, and you're incredible. You stuck by our side through that entire chamber of what turned out to be cute puzzles from Salingers, but at the time I thought was horrific.
It's better in hindsight, right? Fane,
Right?
I would love to have you. I think we would be lucky to have you. I just don't want you to misunderstand exactly what we're about to go to. The world is not as well prepared for what has happened as Elenge's Pass. And our first stop is the haunted tower. So the haunted stone tower. We are going straight there.
Brunhilde is a goddess of courage and strength, and I could not sit so idly by where I might be needed. And I want to learn more of Brunhilde and more of the maiden, and there's nothing more to learn here.
It sounds like you have your maiden's blessing. And he nods towards Araya.
She is like in the middle of like nudging Peach, but like, yes.
Yeah, he's got the blessing of whichever one I am too. I forget.
You're like the golden dancer.
No, I know. Peach remembers.
Yeah.
Or rather, Kate remembers. Peach is not.
And Kate brightens up. Thank you. I promise I won't fall behind.
What?
Chris will eventually get my accent right.
I love so much that Fane is coming with us.
Never
He has
thought
through some stupid moments.
We'd be traveling with a dwarf. What?
I know. Who'd have
We
thought I would
need
ever
him.
have a friend dwarf?
Girl, he's not just your friend, he's your acolyte.
No, he's not an acolyte. He believes in Brunhilde.
Mm.
Honestly, though, truly though, his primary faith.
maiden.
Fane, your goddess. Like, if you had to choose, the goddess that I believe the most in is Brunhilde, right? Right? It's just easy, right? Is Brunhilde is obviously who.
You or
no.
you or me?
You.
Hey,
I mean, consider that Brunhilde may have had a lot of names and a lot of embodiments over the years, and also there's some strange time things, and also Rhea looks a lot like
Yeah, Peach standing next to Araya would elbow her and say, see, he ain't just following along through the, goodness, but all you're starting to, I don't know, it ain't a new religion, but I don't know, maybe one of those Knights groups, right? Like a Knights Templar or something like that. The Knights of the Maiden. Maybe he could be the first of a bunch.
Long have I harked the horns of the maiden, knowing that should set me on the path to Brunhilde.
Araya, light him.
She blushes, shrinks a little bit. She's like, it's just necessary. No.
Yeah. Give him a blessing, girl. Please.
Bless him at any time. I just wanted to acknowledge that his faith resides in Brunhilde, and that the little mix-up is Sal's fault. No, okay, yes. Fane, this is a worthwhile journey, but it is not safe. And with any blessing that I can provide through the maiden, it is yours. And you will serve Brunhilde and our world with great honor.
My best friend was cut down by one of those things in the tunnels to defend all of you, and I could not let his passing be in vain. If you'll have me, I'll travel with you.
Okay. She jumps back. Is Thane coming with us?
Yes. And she like lays a hand on his shoulder and Gaiden? Wait, what's the one that lasts a longer time?
All right. Well, I'm gonna go see if Esmond smells clean enough to drag him out of the bath.
Yeah, I would say that after about 20, 30 minutes of extra waiting, Esmond is clean. He still looks incredibly exhausted, but he is clean. He's wearing whatever new digs y'all got for him when you were shopping. I'm not sure what it was.
Deep
Check the
feeds.
gifts, chat. No, it's not. No, yours is the deep V, but they had nothing that suited Casey in the winter section.
I will check the gift section in a bit. Real fast. Just when getting ready, Esmond would pass along a small pack to Peach, and over the span of these past few days, DM Esmond would have crafted nine more ammunition split between Esmond and Peach, and I'll mark it all in the chat. But Peach, the bag that Esmond is giving you would have included normal ammunition and 7 Carrido Firebrand bullets as well, and I'll give you those details in a minute.
And please remember to update the group, like the group fund materials as well.
Every time someone spends something, I'm on it.
Every time I shoot a bullet.
All right. Well, in that case, as you depart from the tavern, you see many eyes of the denizens of Alenge's Pass watching you. Some of them skeptical, some of them, their eyes gleaming with the realization that ancient stories they had been awaiting had come true. And the people they had long heard would come to save them have come at last. Some of them maybe have some inkling of who you are, and some of them maybe creating new stories of who you are in their own minds. For too long, the mayor standing at the outskirts of town as you begin to fade off, heading into the east, with just, perhaps in the snow, 2 or 3 days more of travel. You leave the town of Alenge's Pass and its winter crops and its old stories set in stone behind. After some days trudging through snow, your snowshoes, and a landscape painted entirely white, trees heavy with snow, rocks and troughs hidden beneath smooth, flowing, endless white. Pick out a stone tower among the trees in the distance. You know you've gotten close.
Let's fast travel.
Nah, Vanya sale the season.
That's your old house, huh? Casey nods to Esmond. Kind of away from the rest of the group, I guess, if he thinks better of it.
Yeah, as the tower would have come into view and as they would have traveled closer to it, Esmond would have gotten noticeably more quiet as they traveled further. No. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's a tower.
No matter what we find in there, Casey claps a hand on Esmond's shoulder, and you can feel the warmth of him even in this cold, bitter environment. You're still going to be you.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to see what we find in there. He claps his shoulder.
Ow. Keep walking.
It's true though.
As you travel. Okay.
Yeah, traveling on a little ways. During a little bit of downtime, pulling him a little bit aside, maybe after Casey had spoken to him, maybe sometime after that, but realizing there's never going to be a good time, she's going to quickly pull Esmond aside, just as they're walking together away from the others. She's like, hey, I don't know exactly if there's ever going to be a good time for this, but there's something I think you should know about the spider and the magic and all that stuff. Just if you think you can handle, I don't know, one more thing in your head.
Sure, I guess.
I'm gonna need a yes or no.
Yes, I can handle it.
Okay. So remember how when you cast the magic, we discovered that the magic itself was what drew the spider? Well,
Yeah.
it's not just your magic. There are trace amounts or essence of just you. Just you. And it's constant.
Ooh,
It's subtle, but it's there.
okay. Mm-hmm.
Just as Ava says that to Esmond, Ishtalan, you spotted something, a bit of movement, flash of blue in the trees off to the left.
You should instantly alert arrow to bow, pointing like a hound, a bloodhound toward it, and says, "Something over there." And she's just actually just gonna move off toward it and try to like skirt around.
Ishtalan moves off to move closer. What's everyone else doing?
Did Ishtalan notify us? Or
Yes,
what?
she's.
Oh my god, she's learning.
Well, she didn't tell you she was moving, but she told you about the thing.
They've adapted.
Got it. I mean, yeah, immediately Esmond turns and whips out his wand and instructs Zephyrus to get up into the air and keep an eye out for anything.
Zephyrus goes.
Crouches down and goes silent.
Oh, and I've got Typhon by my side now, too. He's back.
Yes. As you creep closer, though, being stealthy is hard. This is all fresh snow. There are no tracks. If anyone had been here, you would certainly know, unless they had some way of traveling without disturbing the snow itself. As you push through, crunching, whining beneath your feet, Ishtalan, you're the first one to clear around a bit of trees, and you see, it seems to be a boy, maybe 13, blue skin, flash of white hair, dressed for the springtime, running through the snow, but he's not disturbing the snow. You see him bending around the trees, and he goes and he throws seems to be a rope up around a branch and starts to tie a little swing. You realize almost immediately, this is Esmond, but it's not right. His hair's long all the way down to like the small of his back and cut in a way that's different. As he works the rope, you can see he has all his fingers. And he looks back, and Esmond's voice, Ez, come on. You see another boy just appear out of nowhere, running through the snow. It's all the way up to his chest, but it's not even slowing him down. And you see that it's Esmond. And the two move together to the swing set. Then you hear a voice from far off, much older. Esmond, there's no time for this. And then all the images fade.
She stops where she is and then calls back over her shoulder and says, someone can do Ava or Esmond. You're the one who can see magic stuff, right? Because
And that's kind of your thing, is.
I mean, yeah. What like it what did something appear and disappear, or like traces
Yep.
of?
Well, I don't think it was actually here, as in at this place and time. Well, maybe at this place. Probably not at this time. There's some kind of timey reality shit going on. Just come over here and take a look.
Esmond will approach and cast detect magic at first level.
It's changed there before you. You do see a couple of those crimson threads that you had seen before. Not thick here, but you do see them. And you do see, I'm going to describe, like pollen on the wind, echoes of a magic aura, a school of magic, chronomancy. Strange distortion. It's not a spell, but the wake of something like ripples on a pond.
What did you see exactly?
Down at his hand, which has the glove and the mechanical finger. It says some kind of timey shit, as far as I can tell, but people who look like the same person and calling each other the same name, but at different. Maybe it wasn't time. Maybe it was just the different planes interacting with each other.
Maybe that's not the sense I'm getting here.
Sorry, with the two Esmonds that I saw, Chris, they were different ages, or did they look the same age?
Different ages.
It might have been maybe just.
Yeah, one was like 13, one was like 7.
Maybe they were different ages, I think. How old were you? Like 1 or 2 when you came to Shepherd's End, right?
You
Less.
broke up about halfway through that.
You were only 1 or 2 when you came to Shepherd's End, right? When the clock rites came?
Yeah, I think about 1 is right. Why?
Wondering.
Esmond is going to stand and try and follow the path of that of the energy to see if it leads anywhere.
As you look around, follow it with the vision that the spell gives you. As the currents drift on the wind, you realize it's leading you in the direction of the tower.
Oh, shit.
What?
Well, I mean, it's why we're going there, but I nothing. We're whatever you saw. It's leads back towards the tower site. Let's just let's keep moving, I guess.
Suppose I'd better tell you now than before we see it again and you freak out, perhaps. She puts a hand on the shoulder and says, little bit more quietly. What I saw looked like you, the different ages. One was a little boy you like 7, and the other one's a little boy you about 13. And they saw each other and called each other Esmond. So whatever's going on here definitely involves you to a large degree.
Processing. Attempting to process. Okay. Yep. Okay. Sure.
Did you know that you had something to do with this tower?
Only in the vaguest sense. Okay. Let's go. I'm gonna keep this up as a precaution, I guess. And Esmond's going to take the lead unless someone else does towards the stone tower, and he's going to keep detect magic up.
As you begin to move toward the stone tower, the snow is still undisturbed, fresh, hanging on the trees. Occasionally a bit drops here and there, and you realize sounds of nature. You don't hear them. You barely hear a bit of wind. You can see now the tower is half destroyed, portions are missing, rubble on the ground, but covered in snow. Something happened here, something violent, a long time ago. And as you all carefully move forward through the snow, we have everybody roll perception, but this time it's hearing-based.
I assume this is wilderness here.
Wilderness.
We're great.
That's going well. Do I need to re-roll that, Chris? Am I in danger?
You've got snow ear. That happens to satyrs sometimes.
I thought the horns protected my ears.
One of the bells on your horns just like slid down to like jingling.
Jingling. Ishtalan. Yeah, I think you're the one. You realize you hear a voice just skipping across the snow like a stone on a pond. You hear a voice born of an ancient vengeance, destiny long coming to fruition. A deep voice, snarling around tusks, from time long ago. Mourn. I challenge you for leadership of the clan. Barely reaches you across the snow.
Coming from the tower?
You're not sure.
She blinks. It looks around trying to locate it. Can't. Doesn't say anything.
As you all creep closer still, snow crunching beneath your feet. Have everyone make another perception check, hearing this time as well.
My first good perception check. But it doesn't count in the face of these badasses.
So it would be a Shalon, but let's go to Ava. Ava, you just making its way through the trees across the snow. You hear a voice that is all of the unending autumn slow rising of a power that was always meant to be. Feminine voice, sharp as flint. Pirun, you fool.
And she stops in her tracks for a second and starts looking around. And, realizing that no one else seems to hear it, she says nothing and they keep going.
Even closer to the tower now, it's grown above you, silent in the snow, twisted this way and that, as though tower built in different moments all come together into one structure, but a thing that was perhaps never meant to be. And all of you, not sure where it comes from, simple laughter. And then you've reached the base of the tower.
There's ghosts. There's definitely ghosts. No, you heard that, right? Like that it was.
Yeah, but it could have been anything. What do you mean ghosts? That's foolish, Araya.
The wind doesn't laugh.
Esmond, as the tower has gotten closer and closer, and he's been after what Ava told him, what Ishlan revealed, as the base of the tower has gotten closer, Esmond has steadily been breathing heavier, despite us not rushing or traveling through particularly difficult terrain. His breathing is getting more staggered, and he's noticeably sweating from his forehead. Okay, all right, sure. This is not the condition I'd hoped that we would have found it in.
As he stands staring up at the tower, Ava goes and just sort of puts a hand on the back of his shoulder like this, just to rest it there for a moment. Doesn't say anything, and then sort of drops the hand after a few seconds, and is telling everybody, she's like, the place, I think, was destroyed by the verdicts. They said it's supposed to be chronomancy practiced here. So this is probably the result of that.
As you had placed your hand on Esmond, he would have flinched harshly before turning around, seeing you, and then just slowly turning back to look at the tower and just let you keep your hand there.
But Gwen mentioned a place, a secret place.
Well, it's either can't be up, so I guess it's got to be somewhere down below.
Out of character, Gwen told me about a stash of weapons that were buried underneath. Question mark? I'm gonna have to go through my notes because Araya remembers, but me, I remember hidden cache of weapons buried.
I definitely heard that as ovens, not weapons.
Oh no, weapons!
I was like, I hid such weapons.
Fuck yeah, bakery. Let's go.
It's a time bakery. I might go through my notes just to for realsies, but
Time bread.
Gwen did say that.
Real quick, when Esmond is visibly starting to freak out a bit, Eva puts a hand on her shoulder, and Islam leans over toward Casey and Peach and says quietly, "Keep an eye on him. He looks like if he seems like he's going to break down, maybe just stop him from running away."
What, Esmond? Yeah, I think you and I could outrun him.
He's going to be fine.
And if he's not,
She
I'll.
rolls her eyes at Casey and just looks at Peach with just like a.
If he makes a run for it, I'll catch him. You don't need
Yeah.
to worry about that. And I'll bring him back kicking and screaming, whatever we need, but I will not force him to do anything beyond that against his will. I will just bring him back to safety.
Before you is an archway that leads into the tower. Part of it crumbled, covered in snow. Do you look all around? All around you is winter, undisturbed, waiting, silent.
She said under or below. Inside or outside? Inside or outside?
Oh, it's gonna go forward. She just before she puts a hand to the door, she stops and then checks the door for him.
There's no door to open. It's partly collapsed,
Oh, I see.
but there's
Okay,
no door.
she just walks to the arch then.
As she's starting to walk forward, Ava, knowing that Esmond has kept up his magical seeing, she's going to just say, shake him from whatever anxiety-riddled reverie he seems to be in and say, "Do you see anything?"
His hands are shaking right now as he holds them up and he's trying to focus, just like look for anything with detect magic still up. Sorry, I don't know if there's anything noticeable. GM.
Through your eyes, Esmond, there are ripples of time wafting off of this place. Just like the snow dancing. The wind is making flurries of snow dance on the surface of the ice. Through your eyes right now, you can see the ripples of time twisting, spinning, passing through all of you. All of it seems to flow from this place.
Yeah. There's it's. I don't think it's residual magic. There's an energy flowing from the tower. Yeah, there's something here. Something was here. Yeah.
All right. Just maybe take a second, do some of those breaths. We've been headed this direction for weeks now. Now we just gotta step inside. Let's not stay too long. Might be weird things in time, but there's no reason for us to linger. You got this.
You say that, and Esmond actually, his left foot begins to slide backwards a little bit, as if he's unconsciously trying to move away, but still staring directly towards the tower.
All right, we'll do it the other way. Peach,
No.
Yeah?
let's give us a little courage, huh? He's asking for heroism.
Yeah, sorry. Kate is dealing with some real life things. Yeah, of course. And Peach would actually rummage in her bag for a minute and pull out her hurdy-gurdy. And usually she just does heroism as a little touch on the shoulder, but she'll play a little tune this time. Say, all right, there you go. And off you go. Good job.
All right, well, like squeeze Esmond's other hand on the other side from where Ava is.
Hearing the weird discordant notes of the hurdy-gurdy.
Hurdy-gurdy sounds beautiful. Thank you very much. And Peach is an adept player.
Hearing the beautiful poetry sewn through the sound waves surrounding them, and Araya grasping Esmond's and yeah.
Peach continues to play encouraging hurdy-gurdy music in the background.
I love it so much, so please keep the music going.
You bet. I appreciate it. I do. We don't know what's here, so you probably don't want to actually make that much noise. I'll be. This is good. This is good. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. And Esmond will walk through the archway.
Ishtalan was the first one through the door. Esmond has moved through. Who is the last person to go through the archway? Peach.
Peach will linger.
All of your friends have moved ahead, vanishing beneath the snow-covered stone of some ancient place where something terrible has happened. Perhaps you have one moment to glance back to see the near featureless snow that only contains the footprints that you all have created on your way here. Maybe after a moment of lingering, when you're finally ready to step through, you hear a voice just behind your ear, a whisper, a voice delicate and fragile, the kind of voice of someone who knows the end has come. There's a decision that must be made. Mr. Samuel, did you say we're friends? And then it's gone.
Peach would not have kept this to herself, but she's the only one around. So she would look around for the source of the voice, and not finding anything, she would sort of pull her cape closer around her shoulders and follow her friends through the door.
We're just about the end. Just one more little thing to do. Ishtalan, you're the first one. Your friends following behind. You've been keeping an eye out for any perils, any problems. And what you find in the interior of this tower is it winds in toward its center on the first floor. You can see that this place has been overgrown with vines, and they're pale and brittle. Say again. No one's been here, certainly for quite a long time. This place has been reclaimed by nature, bits of moss and vines that crunch beneath your feet. But as you enter what seems to be the main chamber of the room, there's a blue glow that illuminates beneath all the thick vines and moss on the floor, and a flickering image appears. An old man, blue-skinned, white-haired. If you are finding this, you have already begun the work. This, I suppose, was inevitable. The question remains, however, that without your guidance, are you clever enough to progress what you began? Let us find first what we learn first about time. In the beginning becomes the end, and in time, the end becomes the beginning. And then the image vanishes.
It's our quest. It's about time.
How excited were you to say that one?
And you can see beneath the mat of vines, there's a blue glow that fades as the image fades.
And was that everyone that saw that, or just Ishtalan?
Yeah, I think you're all kind of coming into the room as this was finishing.
Hey. What did that old blue guy look familiar at all?
I'm kind of dead.
Cool.
What kind of familiar?
All right, Esmond, I don't want to sound like all wind and icy look alike or all air. How common is your phenotype with the blue and the white and all? Is there any chance that these folks ain't you in some form?
Esmond is just wide-eyed, staring at where the image was. It has to be someone else, I think.
You sure it's not literally you? Literally you? Like you through time and space, like how Salinger fell through time and space, like maybe
Get the
it's you,
idea.
all of it's you.
Give him a moment.
Yeah, okay. Esmond will go and try and clear the brush from where that blue glow was.
As you tear away the vines, they're brittle and easy to remove. It reveals what once was an ornate floor before whatever disaster occurred here. Part of it's scarred with fire, but part of it remains a central portion, now long overgrown, sweeping away dust in the years. And below are what seem to be ornate tiles that contain characters. And you realize tiles can be moved. Each tile contains a letter and spells out a word.
Before Esmond can make a move, Peach just grabs his arm and says, Esmond, if this ends in us finding your grave, I swear to the maiden, to Brunhilde, that if it turns out you're dead, I will kill your ghost.
As you look upon the newly revealed tiles, each contains a letter, and they spell out a word. E S M U N D.
Esmond just kind of shuffles away, falling backwards, trying to get away from the tiles.
I'll catch you.
I sorry, thank you, thanks. I I I let's uh, let's look for those notes. Yeah.
Well, where'd you leave him?
Ava.
I didn't. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
That's a bad joke, guys. We'll start looking. And Ava will start to head off and look around the room, I guess.
Dylan kind
I'll
of gives
take
Ava a little punch on the shoulder, and then moves off in opposite direction. Just got the other.
As you begin to move about the room, you realize very quickly this place has been destroyed. There's rubble. There's nothing left. Anything that would have been here is rotted, burned away, and rained on for, well, according to Vithedrian, according to Gwen, almost 20 years. There's here on the surface of the tower, nothing to be found.
Well, we can move the letters. You think maybe that would activate something?
No visible doors or anything.
If
Especially
you
those that are in here. Just the circle.
There's an
well,
archway that just leads back out into the snow, and parts of a wall have crumbled. There's nothing here.
Es, how you doing? Are you okay, or
I've
have you broken?
picked Desmond up, if he's kind of fallen backwards, and, I'm kind of, like, patting him, reassuring, like, "It's okay. It'll be fine. We'll figure this out. I'm sure it's just a weird time folding thingy issue, and maybe that's you, but maybe it's also not you. Maybe I mean, didn't your parents find you here? Maybe this is why they named you Esmond, because they found the name on the floor."
They named me after floor tiles that they found in a tower they were forced to work in that was owned by a bad man that had to be destroyed by the forces of the kingdom.
Esmond, come on. There are 5
Well,
tiles.
when you say it like that, maybe that, yeah, maybe not, I don't know.
The six
You
times.
can you can also look as your folks brought you out of this and let you live like a normal childhood for for the past 15 years, however long. I mean, yeah, this is kind of a shock of everything, but also we got it.
Beth, do me a favor and slap me very hard across the face, please.
Oh, you don't
Beth,
want
do
that.
not. You will hurt that fragile little boy.
Beth,
He,
please.
he's literally asking for it.
Oh, she takes off her like armored hand, like glove off her hand, and then she very gently like ding.
Ishlan, would you please slap me across the face? I roll damage. I want to be hurt.
Oh, I don't really have much slap damage, but sure, I can.
I don't know.
Face
D4.
snaps to the
I might
side.
heal you with a slap because I've got like such a negative.
Sean slaps you hard. Face snaps to the side. There's a stinging on your cheek that rivals even that of the winter wind.
Okay, sure, got it. Esmond walks back to the tiles. Can the tiles be moved or rearranged in any way?
Yes, you realize the tiles can be slid at. They can be slid down, up. They can be their places can be exchanged.
I would like to make an investigation check to determine what the most viable solution to any of the most viable solutions to whatever position they could be slid into to form whatever word.
Mm-hmm. You would need a basis from which to begin to do that.
I can't think of any 6-letter words.
Ishlan, you've got your hand up.
5 times? 6 times? Like, is his full name spelled? Or is there a misspelling?
His full name is spelled.
Okay.
So 6 tiles.
That's 6
sorry.
tiles.
Need mid and I'm just gonna start like listing off things that like just mashing letters together of those 3 of those 6.
I can only think of maybe it's oh no, there are no 6-letter words. It's 2 words. It has to be.
Demson?
Okay, the potential for either 2 words and or if you sound it out phonetically, is there anything that could be
Mendas?
When you begin to slide tiles into place in your experimentation, you find out very quickly the answer is one word. Because in order to click them into place, it's one line.
Okay. I cannot think of a 6-letter word.
I mean, Mundus, Mundus. I don't know. Just slide it into place just to see if that does anything.
Everybody make an investigation.
Now we're gonna all have to do anagrams with our own names just to see if there's any secrets.
Casey, it's Casey.
Yes.
Casey, you can almost hear the words that you heard when you first came into the room. Let us begin first with the lesson that we learn about time. Does the end becomes the beginning?
Casey will reiterate these words to the group. You guys got it yet? And he grins at everyone.
Nope, I got nothing. What do you got?
I reckon I got it.
It doesn't do anything backwards, does it?
Give it a try, yes. Just going in right side backwards.
Sure. We'll rearrange Esmond so it's backwards.
Just to make sure I understand, name for me the order in which the letters are.
Fuck, how do you spell my name?
DNUMSE.
That's what.
Sorry, I've been writing them out. Like, I'm like, okay. But also, you could spell end with his name, and so like there's endums.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like it was end
So
some.
end some, yeah.
Please tell me the order. Please tell me what you entered.
ENDSUM.
Clicks into place. Nothing happens.
Well,
I'm saying just your full name backwards.
UMSE.
Right, and you're trying to spell words. Just overthinking it. Just do your whole name backwards. Sometimes it ain't that complicated.
Oh, it's Desmond. No, because the end, you put it at the beginning. No, it's...
Oh, yeah. That maybe that works.
Sure, then I will spell it like that.
Desmond.
Please tell me the order in which you enter the letters.
DESMUN.
A blue glow comes up from the floor, and the blue image reappears. Welcome, Magister Desmond. The image fades and then stairs lower down beneath the tower. And that's where we'll end for tonight.
Woo! Way to go, Jess! Way too high a pitch to her, but you're excited.
So, that wasn't even that high pitched. Like, I can go much higher. Like, you guys are missing out on a whole range of me.
What was the thing that the ghost that Peach heard? You were cutting in and out for me at that point. I assumed she wouldn't have known it.
No, that sounds about right.
Yes, this means you're not named after a maniac killer wizard. You're named after an anagram. Maniac killer wizard.
Beautiful.
He's named after the thing that his parents saw on the floor when they rescued him and all. You can turn anything into a wholesome story.
Hey, this is some tabula rasa. He's not responsible for the genetic makeup that he's made of.
Agree.
Tabula rasa. Just like how I am not responsible for the demonic blood that pumps through my veins.
Right, nor I for whomever my father is.
It's gonna be like a dude.
No, it's gonna be some slutty human bard.
No, we don't see humans, let alone like with them.
Yeah, exactly. Thus, he would have seemed exotic to Ms. Miranda Pine.
Well, no, Ava is going to be cursed to a life of chastity. No, because humans are like eradicated from this realm, right? Like they're like, oh, don't let humans come in. They're in trouble.
Ava, just watching you guys have this conversation.
So racist.
No, Peach will say like, no, humans are prolific. My mom always said how they're so, no offense, Ava, but you know, they're slutty. There's so many half blanks, and the other half is always human. You never hear of somebody who's half orc, half elf. It's always half something, half human.
Oh, I just thought the half was like whatever was they predominantly resembled. And the other half could be anything.
All right, what do you think I am? All right, my mom's a wood elf.
Yeah, so you're
my other parent is question. Yeah, but my other parent is question mark. What's my other half?
My vote is
I'm going
for
to bed. Good night, everybody.
a mermaid.